All right, what's up, guys? Today we have our top 10 wide receiver rankings for you. It's been a journey getting to this point, let's just say.
We had a few
We
issues.
find top 10 wide receivers for you. Yeah, I watched 15 guys. Watched 21, I believe. We have a long
21.
list of guys. We pretty much each watched and have opinions on every relevant wide receiver in this class. And we have very, very differing opinions. And it's pretty much because my list is very off consensus, but it's going to lead to good conversations. So
Yeah, it'll be good.
let's get right into it. You want to read 10 to 5 or?
Yeah, we can just read 10 to 5, go through that, and then go through our 10 to 6. Let's do 10 to 6
Okay.
and then 5 to 1.
10 to 6. Okay, so I will start with mine if that's fine.
Yep, go for it.
10 for me, despite being a Bama fan, is Jeremy Bernard. Jeremy Bernard is my 10th play wide receiver. My 9th receiver is Denzel Boston from Washington. My 8th receiver is Chris Bell from Louisville. My 7th receiver is Carnell Tate from Ohio State.
Yeah, bro.
That's going to be kind of big for a lot of people. And my 6th wide receiver is Elijah Surratt from Indiana.
Okay.
So...
yeah, and at my 10, I have Bryce Lance from NDSU. At 9, I have Zachariah Branch from Georgia. At 8, I have Jeremy Bernard from Bama. 7, I have Chris Brazzell from Tennessee. And 6, I have Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana. So ours were literally completely different.
Pretty much. So you want to just do 10 and you could talk about Bryce Lance first?
Yep. Yeah.
Here, let's talk about Bryce Lance and Chris Brazzell back to back. As for me, I watched 15 guys. Bryce Lance was my 15th receiver. He was the worst receiver I watched. And the second worst receiver I watched was Chris Brazzell. He was my 14th receiver.
Okay, yeah.
As I watched more guys, these guys only continuously fell. So I feel like if I were to watch more guys, like they would also fall for me. So This will be kind of a fun little debate right here. Why don't you start with Bryce Lance?
So yeah, for Bryce Lance, he dominated the FCS with quarterback Cole Payton on NDSU. NDSU just rolled past everyone until the FCS playoffs. He's a great route runner, I feel like, who excelled at creating separation based on his speed, finding the sideline. He's prototypical size, so he's built for he's 6'3", 204 pounds, 32-inch arms. He is tough to cover one-on-one or in zone just based on his speed and his size. He's good in contested catch situations. He has a 9.98 RAS from the combine. So he's kind of a freak athlete. 4'3", 440, 41.5-inch vert. 11-1 broad, and he had a 99.9 grade on deep targets this year. The biggest issues with him are that his competition is really weak as he's from an FCS school. He did not have many receptions this year. That was mostly due to his efficiency, but he didn't put up the numbers you would expect from a very dominant FCS receiver. He only had 8 touchdowns in 13 games, just over 1,000 yards, and he's pretty underwhelming blocking skills for his size. For his size, you'd expect him to be a better blocker, and he's just not. He had did I put the grade down? I don't think I have the grade. I think he was below like a 60 grade on PFF for run blocking. But yeah, I think just his athletic prowess mixed with the fact that he was pretty productive and he was pretty dominant. For me, he's a little bit higher up. I know Cam has his insight on him that he's going to share, but I do think he is a late second round to early third round pick just for depth. But Cam is going to give his insight here.
Yeah, so Bryce Lance, he's an all-time level athlete. 99 RAS means he's like out of 3,500 wide receivers tested, he's like in the top 10 of those. So very, very, very elite. He has pretty elite production with 2,100 yards and 25 touchdowns in the last 2 years. Really, all he does is he's a vertical threat with speed. He bullies guys with his athleticism. That's how he wins. My problem with him is that's all he does. He really only stretches the field deep. He's only winning off of speed. He's always getting perfect balls thrown to him because NDSU's line never breaks. It is really, really good alignment against FCS, glorified high school guys. Bryce Lance, limited release. Like, he literally just runs straight pretty much, or runs like a middle of the field crosser, like super limited route tree. His first 3 college years, he did nothing in either, being like a great athlete. Like, he as a senior, I think he might be a redshirt senior.
He is a redshirt senior.
Entirely. Okay, that's what I thought. In his first 3 years, he did nothing. 2024, he had 17 touchdowns and 1,069 yards. Like, that's good. That's what I want to see. If you're playing shit competition, you should at least be dominating. But then this year, only 8 touchdowns. Like, he also had like 22 yards per reception. That's just not feasible.
Yes.
It's just not.
It
That
is
just
really
shows
high.
like he is a very, very one-dimensional player. All he does, it's just go ball fades, and he's just always faster than everyone because he's never playing against anyone. The level, the difference between an FCS corner and a NFL corner is like,
Yeah.
it's not even like, you can't even compare them, dude.
Hmm.
So this, on top of the fact that he's older, he's almost 24 years old, he lacks versatility, he never plays in the slot. He has a super raw route tree, very limited release, and literally only wins through his athleticism. I just don't really like him. I mean, he's literally never played an FBS team ever, like, or at least had production against it. Like, his best game was probably against South Dakota State. Like, that's just like, great. Name a guy in South Dakota State that's going to the NFL this year. Like,
right. There is none.
So I just don't like to put my chips in faith in guys that don't face anyone. Like, the level of competition that he is going from the FCS to the NFL is just so large that for how raw he is anyways, I don't think he's going to be able to make it. And that's what I think about with Bryce Lance.
Yeah.
But, and obviously we just see him. You think he can win off his athleticism at the next level? I don't think he can. So that's just the difference in our opinion, pretty much.
Yeah, that's just a difference in how we scout, and I definitely trust your judgment. You've been doing this longer than me. He kind of caught my eye watching him, and I think that he could definitely make an impact in the NFL. But we'll see. I'm excited to watch him for sure.
Yeah, and obviously the athleticism brings a floor that nobody else really has. So, I mean, in a perfect scenario, he could get developed into a really good wide receiver. I'm not sure because, realistically, I know you think he's going to be, or you would take him in the late second. He's probably going to be like a late 3rd to 4th round pick. I'm not really sure how many coaches in the NFL can and then are willing to because I think he'd need like years of development on top of the fact that he's already 24 for him to be like even like a wide receiver 2 or 3. So. Yeah, I would probably take him in the 5th or 6th round, but that's just Bryce Lance for me. It's fine, whatever. And then Brazzell. You want to talk
about Chris Brazzell? Yeah, we can talk about Chris Brazzell.
Because what is he for you? Like 8 for you?
7.
So Brazzell was 14 for me. Why don't you talk about him? I know back to back you're talking about guys, but I'm going to be talking about a bunch of guys later.
Yeah, that's fair. I definitely want to talk about the guys I like. So.
Yeah, you can take the floor with Brazzell here.
So the first thing I noticed for Brazzell, and I know I've told you this before, I feel like I would turn on Tennessee games and this dude would be scoring touchdowns. I looked at his stats and the touchdowns weren't as much as I thought, but I still really liked what I saw on tape. He's a big receiver who excels at being a deep threat, kind of like Bryce Lance. He's very similar. I'm just in a much better conference. He's got solid route running and ability to find space. He's a great late down option, good slant runner like all Tennessee wide receivers. Not the best in runner after the catch. Not amazing in the open field just because of his size, but he played great versus good comp. Georgia, Bama, Vandy, he had good games against all of them, at least for production. And he is, in my opinion, the most improved receiver that I looked at.
To ask, did he really play last year?
He did. I think he had.
Did he play a ton last year?
I don't have the exact stats. I think he had solid production, but I could be wrong. You might be right.
I'll check really quick. Sorry, continue.
He improved his overall PFF grade from 56.6 to 79.4. He had a 99 grade in targets deep downfield, 90.9 in intermediate, and he had a 94.7 grade on 0 to 9 yard targets. Did you find what he had?
Yeah, he had 60 targets and 30 catches. So
he was,
yeah.
I know there's kind of this thing with Tennessee receivers. Jalen Hyatt didn't pan out very well.
Hyper receiver specifically.
Yeah, but I think with his size and he ran a 4.37 40. He has 32-inch arms. He's almost 200 pounds, 6'4". I think he could be a guy who gets taken in the early second and makes an immediate impact, but we'll see.
Yeah, so he's 14 for me because I really think he's just another hypo receiver, product of the system type of thing. He really only has 1 year of production. I don't love that. I would have liked to see him. I mean, like he had like a decent year. I think he had like 700 yards at Tulane like 2 or 3 years ago. But like that's not like anything crazy for me. His route tree because of hypo system is pretty weak. Like he's really only running go balls and like slants. Like they don't really ask for him to do much. He also only lines up on the right side. that's a very
Yes,
key
that's something
indicator
I
of bust,
noticed.
is that they only play on one side. And I genuinely think in the last 2 years has only played 2 snaps on the left side. I think I heard that stat. It's like he has like 1,000 and something snaps on the right side, no snaps on the left. So I mean, like, he's not very versatile because he doesn't play in the slot and then he doesn't even play on one side of the field.
Yeah.
His yak ability is super limited. I mean, like, if he isn't stretching the field deep and catching it and scoring, like, if there's a guy on him, he's not going to really take it to the house.
Yeah.
And in Heupel's system, another thing is they make sure these guys never have to go against press ever. They play them deep enough that they always are getting off. That's not like the system in the NFL isn't going to work around you. It's
Right.
You're going to have to adapt to the system. No system in the NFL allows for like perimeter X receivers, which is all he is going to be, to just never have to beat press. He really never had to. And I also thought, despite his size and speed, his contested catch ability was kind of lacking. Like, he doesn't really go up and get it 7 for 17, 41%. Like, I would have liked to see him be more of like an alpha threat at the catch point.
Yeah.
But I will say, he had good production against SEC comps. I mean, he beat, like, in Georgia, he bullied Ellis Robinson, who I believe he's a freshman this year, but, like, he projects to be a really, really good corner over the next 2 years. Everything deep route running and, like, deep down the field for this guy is NFL level, NFL refinement, like deep tracking, catching the ball. He breaks off routes really well for his size. Like, he does have a few comeback routes where it's like, okay, you can sink your hips well. Like, that was nice to see. And, like, when he does have to beat press, which isn't that much, he is quick to do it because of just how fast he is, and it's hard to do that at the next level. So I don't know how much of a plus that is, but he's also a good blocker. That's nice to see him use his size, and he does find soft spots easily, like when he does have to do comebacks or like middle of the field things, despite being limited. To me, I just think he's like a super specialized third option. Like, if there's a team that just wants to stretch the field, that's what he's gonna be. I just don't really think he's ever gonna be anything higher than that. Like, he isn't a good enough route runner. His route tree isn't defined enough, and he just hasn't had to beat press or had enough like experience to be like a wide receiver 2. I just think he will always kind of be like a specialized package wide receiver 3 on like 3rd and long or 2nd and long, 4th and long, whatever, when they just want somebody to threaten that outside perimeter. But I mean, obviously you think that he can contribute much more because of his how good he is, but I just have seen the story play out with Heupel. The system, it's perfect for these guys. You could not ask for a better system for this guy, and in the NFL, it's just not going to be like that. It's not going to be even close to that. So we'll see with him, but I just really don't like. I would probably take him in like the 3rd or 4th round, and that would be, I'd have to want him. I'd have to have a need for him. That's kind of another thing with Brazil. I think there's some teams that like literally would never play him because if they don't need what he can do, they're just never playing this guy because it's just not good enough to do much else.
He definitely is very special.
Obviously is teams that do need guys that can stretch the field and have this size and speed. So he will be drafted. I don't know how high. I could see his range being very, very big, but he's going to be someone that's going to be fun to watch during the draft, though. I will say that, like where he goes.
I think a lot of these,
personally, wasn't super high.
A lot of these receivers are going to be really fun to watch on draft night, just because, like,
I agree.
They could go. Yeah. They have such big ranges, and I think we were talking before this. This is a very underratedly like good class. Like,
I think it's really good. Personally,
I feel like coming into this year, I feel like there wasn't a lot of talk about this wide receiver class, but like going through and actually watching these receivers, I'm just seeing how much talent there is, how much potential there is here, and I think like it's going to be really fun to watch where some of these guys go, and like just the fact that we have this much discourse about our top 10, that's another good sign.
Yeah, because when it's super cut and dry, that usually means there isn't that many options anyways.
Right.
But yeah, so moving on from Brazil, unless you had anything else to say, you want to talk about Branch. Branch was what, 9 for you, correct?
9, yeah. Branch was 9.
Okay, so let's talk about Branch. He was, I mean, this is the 3rd guy in a row. You're way higher than him for me. For me, he was 13 out of 15, and honestly would probably fall even further as I add more guys to the list. So why don't you talk about him?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to start with the biggest thing that sucks about Branch, and that's his size. He's 5'9", 177 pounds through his combine measurement. That is not great. He only has 29-inch arms, 29.4, which is really small. The thing that I liked about his combine performance was obviously he has good speed, which you have to if you're that size. Solid vert.
He's really strong.
He's really strong. which he has to be for his size. So that kind of, for me, it almost offset it, not completely, but his size is obviously still an issue. But if he has that kind of strength, that helps. But moving on to his actual tape, he's obviously a true slot receiver. You're not picking him to play the outside. He's excellent in the open field, great speed and agility, good set of moves. I noticed when I was watching him that it was almost impossible to tackle him open field one-on-one. He's very shifty. He had great play versus good competition. He played well against Tennessee, Alabama, Ole Miss. He has a feisty running style that again makes it really hard to bring him down. And he's surprisingly solid at blocking in the run game, which I thought was interesting for his size. I think that helps with his strength. But yeah, he's very small, which is his biggest issue. But overall, I think if he's without his size issues, he's going to be a solid receiver. I think he had 81 receptions for 800 yards, 6 touchdowns, which is not great production. It's okay. I like the reception part. 81 receptions is pretty good in the SEC, but he didn't have the yards or touchdowns in 14 games, which wasn't great. But his PFF grades were great. 96.4 on deep targets, 94.7 on intermediate targets. He had a 2.4% drop rate, and surprisingly, he had a 62.5% contested catch rate in the SEC as a slot receiver, which I thought was pretty impressive, being 5'9", 180.
Yeah, he only had 5. He only had 8 though.
Right. Like so it's not like a big. It's not a ton, but I still think bringing in 5 for 8 is solid for the fact that he's that small. And another interesting stat that I saw about him is that he had almost 55% of his targets were behind the line of scrimmage. So I think the biggest thing for me, the biggest thing for me is I think whoever drafts him needs to know how to use him, because I think he's a good weapon. I think the problem for me is I think someone's going to draft him and not know how to use him, and he's going to bust, which is kind of where I'm nervous.
Yeah, so can I give my thing on him?
Go for it, yeah.
For me, he's very, very similar to Brazzle. That's why they're back-to-back. Brazzle's 14, Zachariah Branch is 13. Very different players, obviously, but what they're good at is so specialized that you don't really see that in the NFL when they have the athleticism and the size, and Branch doesn't. I mean, I'll say, like, he's super young, he's super twitched up, very strong for his size, yak threat. I mean, he houses, like, any play, honestly. Like, he has the speed, too, and he has the juke moves. Like, my comp for him, he's literally a human joystick, great gadget player, and he has return specialist experience. Also really good hands. But, like, I mean, he's like an SS type of receiver for me, slant screen type receiver. But, like, I don't think he can do that at the NFL. Like, I think he is sheerly a gadget player. He's super, super small. So, like, dude, he's not going to be able to get off of press playing in the slot. He's just not. He's too small. His arms aren't big enough. He's not going to be able to hand fight. He's not going to be... I mean, I get he's strong, but he's too small. He has one good year of production. The rest of it's just, like, okay. And even still, like, he really only took over... He didn't even really take over any games. Like, I have his best game as... Marshall, 3 for 4, 95 yards and a touchdown. Like, he's just, like, doesn't really have that alpha presence. You watch him on tape, he looks like a child. And I get that Georgia has really one of the biggest players in the country, but he looks like a little kid, like, genuinely. Another thing is when he's catching the ball, he, like, jumps all the time. Like, he just puts himself up, jumps, which is like, dude, we get it. You have almost a 40-inch vert. But the funny thing is, I think he sometimes feels like he needs to because of how small he is.
Yeah.
That he feels like if it's going to be too high and he can't reach it and he doesn't have big arms anyways, that he needs to just jump to put himself in that position. But that's going to get him killed. And, like, honestly, like, he is going to be brought in at the NFL. And Branch is higher than him, but, like, when I think about it, like, Brazzle might be higher. I did like Branch more because I felt like at what he did, he was better than it. But, like, he's just so small that, like, I really only think he's going to be able to be prominent in, like, the screen game. Like, behind the line of scrimmage stuff. I mean, like, he's just too small to be, like, running routes. Like, honestly. Like, I get he's fast, but, like, I wouldn't trust this guy in the slot, personally. And I sure as hell wouldn't trust him out wide. So I just don't know, like, where's the role for this guy? How many teams are going to use a top pick on a guy that's sheerly catching screens for you? I mean, he had 3.6 average depth of target. That's not good. Like, anything under 6 is, like, pretty bad. 0.6, it's like, dude, that's all he's doing in college, and he's still not that productive. 800 yards, 6 touchdowns. I just think, like, I just don't know what's he going to be able to do in the NFL. I'm not sure. You tell me, like, what's he going to do elite at the NFL? Because even in the screen game, he's just so small that it's hard to say he's going to be able to, like, do anything, really. I wasn't really high on him. I mean, obviously you only had him at 9, so it's not like you were super high on him either. But like, I just think he's so much less of a like. You obviously just think he can exceed at what he can do at the NFL, and I just really don't think he can.
Yeah, I think,
Because he is a good athlete, but
like I said, I think he has a pretty low floor, which is my concern with him. But I also think he has a pretty
very
decent
low.
ceiling.
Yeah.
I think he has a decent ceiling, which is why I have him at 9. I know he's really small, but from what I've seen on tape, just his shiftiness, and I think he's still a solid route runner. I think if he could work that slot a little bit, I think he could be solid and maybe even productive, which is why I have him at 9. But definitely a low floor. If he gets in the wrong system, or if he just can't figure out the NFL, like how to play in the NFL with his size, he's gonna struggle a lot.
Yeah, and like the NFL forgets about these guys like that.
Mm.
Like there's no
Right.
sympathy in the NFL.
No.
Like if he comes in and his play strength isn't adequate, like they'll cut him like right away.
Yeah.
The guys that get drafted and cut the quickest are usually the guys that are super small. Like last year, it was Chris Paul, the linebacker from Ole Miss. He was like 5'10". He was he was like literally first percentile in a lot of size categories, and the Rams cut him like before the season started. He was a 5th round pick. So like obviously like Branch will probably be drafted in like the 4th or 5th. So like maybe that won't happen for him, but like that just shows like these guys get forgot about very quickly. And I just personally, like if I was a GM, I just would not draft this guy. The size he's not good enough to make up for the size outlier. Yeah. Do you want to talk about Jeremy now? 'Cause
Yeah,
he's
I think
10
Jeremy.
for me and 8 for you, right?
I think Jeremy would be good to talk about.
Okay, so even though you're higher on him, I'm going to talk about Jeremy just because you've talked about the last 3 guys to start. Bama fan, which maybe I have some explaining to do as to why he is not high for me, but I don't let bias ruin rankings or impact it. Like, I just don't. I'm very honest about Vikings players, Packers players on teams I hate, teams I love. And honestly, like Germany, he was a great player. He's exactly what Bama needed, but his skill set is just, it's hard to project it at an elite level at the NFL. I mean, my comp for him is he's just a reliable chain mover. I'm trying to pull up my thing on him. He's one of my favorite players in this draft because, yes, I'm a Bama fan, and he is very, very damn reliable, and he saved us in so many games. He has the versatility to play in the slot and out wide. You know, for me, is just your quarterback's best friend. Like, 206. I mean, like, 4.48 840. Has decent speed. He's an okay athlete. Like his vert wasn't great, but his broad's pretty good. 22 and a half years old. He's a super just polished tempo route runner. Like very, very smooth routes. I mean, he can kind of work intermediate to the short area of the field. Like deep, he's not as great, but super good hands, really reliable, does not drop the ball really ever. Only 2 drops in 2024 and 1 drop in 2025. He tracks the ball, and probably one of his most underrated skills is how good at adjusting he is. He adjusts like a pro. If the play is breaking down and he needs to break off a route and run back the other way, or break in, like he is super aware of that at all times. And he plays very physical. Like he fights for those first downs. Like he saved Bama a ton. Like it was like 3rd and 7. We needed a guy. He caught it and then he fought to get the first down. Like that's awesome. You love to see that. And then really good balance, really good body control, and his footwork is elite. So like if you need him to get that toe tap on like a 3rd or 4th and long, like he's got it for you. Like he will fight for those yards. Like he is a chain mover at his core. But for me, I just thought, like personally, my mantra with wide receivers is I like them to take over games. I like them to be that alpha threat, because if you can't do it in college, you're not going to do it at the NFL. And let's be real, that's what you want from your wide receivers. You want them to take over games in the NFL and separation. I thought Jeremy was, I mean, he's a great route runner, but like his speed kind of limits him as an elite separator. He isn't getting consistent separation at the level I'd love for him. And he also lacks takeover games and like elite production. Like he only had 100 yards in his career in the last 2 years once against Auburn, which is great, because fuck Auburn. Outside of that, he is like he's gonna get you like 60 to 80 yards and a touchdown at the college level. So I'm a little concerned because like you project that to drop off. Like how high are you gonna take a guy that's gonna get you 50 yards, 40 yards a game and maybe a touchdown?
Right.
He's just an okay athlete. Like that's what lacks a lot of explosive ability, lacks long speed. He kind of struggles against press and man overall. He only had a 61 PFF man grade. Not very twitchy. Like he's not going to house like these slants or like screens. He's not going to like make a ton of juke moves, make guys miss. And he's not really great in contested catch scenarios, like 5 for 14 this year, 35.7%, and last year was only 5 for 10. So for me, he's just like a super high floor guy, but I just think his ceiling is not that big. Like, unfortunately, I love Jeremy. He was exactly what Ty Simpson needed. And funnily enough, like, I could really see him getting drafted to a team that is going to have a first year quarterback or a second year quarterback. Like, for instance, I think he would be great on like the Titans, or like if the Raiders took him in like the 3rd round, I think that'd make a ton of sense for Mendoza. But just with his level of athleticism and, you know, the fact that he hasn't really taken over or was ever super productive in college, like, I just don't think his ceiling's that high. But how did you see him? Because you obviously thought a little more of him.
Yeah, and I think my biggest thing with him was he's the most versatile player. He might be the most versatile player in the draft, honestly. He's great athleticism. He can play running back. He can play slot. He can play outside. He can even play quarterback. I mean, he had more pass completions than drops in 2025. He's excellent in the intermediate field, especially in the center of the field, 99.2 grade. He went 15 for 18 for 317 yards and 3 touchdowns in intermediate center field. So he's a reliable target. Like you said, for Ty Simpson, he was very reliable. He had a solid combine, 9.03 RAS. He's got decent size, 6'1", 206, like you said. And he had solid production. He had 9 total touchdowns in 14 games. I mean, that's pretty good for the SEC. Almost 1,000 total yards with rushing and receiving combined. And yeah, I think overall, he was a very solid receiver. And I think that's someone that a lot of scouts are going to like, just because, you know, you want the guys who are at least going to have a pretty high floor, and can hopefully develop a little bit more. Now, can Jeremy develop, is the question. He's 22, a little over 22 years old. I think that he may be able to, but I think that's going to be the biggest question with him. I think he's, like I said, a very high floor guy, but I don't think I can have him higher than 8 just because his ceiling is much lower.
Yeah, and yeah, pretty much just exactly. I agree. Like, I watched him, obviously, all the games this year, and you're never watching a Bama game going, oh my God, Jeremy Bernard is going crazy, but you're just like, good catch, Jeremy. Like, you only had like 40, like maybe, like, he has so many games this year with like 3 yards, or 3 catches for 50 yards. And you're like, stat watching, you're like, it's not that great. But then, like, every single one of them was like 3rd down, like, game on the line, maybe, you know? Like, so that's nice to see, but for me, it's just like, so I like him. I don't not like him. I'm just like, how high do you take that? Especially when he's kind of lacking on the upside.
Yeah.
Would probably take Jeremy early 3rd, maybe late 2nd if you like really felt like this is what our rookie quarterback needs. But like, because he is going to be a quarterback's best friend. But I mean, like, he's just like a very high tier wide receiver 3, low tier wide receiver 2.
Yeah, I had him as a mid to late 2nd, I think, is probably fair. I think he could definitely fall to the 3rd, though, just because of his issues with his upside.
Yeah. So then, do you want to talk about okay, so the remaining guys on my list are 9 is Boston, 8 is Chris Bell, 7 is Carnell Tate, 6 is Elijah Surratt.
Let's talk about Chris Bell and Elijah Surratt, because we did the ones that I'm higher on that you're lower on. We can talk about the ones that you're higher on and I'm lower on.
So let's talk about Chris Bell first.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So Chris Bell, let me just pull this up, man. Yeah, so what was Chris Bell for you?
He was 14.
Okay.
Yeah, 14.
14. So you did not like him compared to me. All right. There is a stark difference in our opinions. All right.
Well, he was what, 8th for you?
Yes, I believe. And I want to preface this. If Chris Bell is right behind Carnell Tate and Elijah Surratt. If Chris Bell did not tear his ACL or go through his injury, ACL, he would be higher than Carnell Tate, and he probably would be higher than Surratt for me. Or at least him and Surratt would be like very, very close. So I like him a ton, and then he is also worse than he is because of this injury. I said with Bell, he's a very hard nut to crack because he's such a gamble. He came onto the scene after having an elite 3-week stretch this season. He kind of blew up for a bunch of people because week 5 versus Pitt, 10 for 15, 135 yards and a touchdown. Next week versus Virginia, 12 for 14, 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then they had a bye week, and then week 8 was Miami, 9 for 12, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns, and they upset Miami, which was the number 2 team at the time, pretty much sheerly because Chris Bell took over the game. So he has dominant takeover games against great comp. I mean, Miami's defense was probably up there. I mean, outside of Ohio State's defense, they're probably the second best defense in the country, and he went off against them, went nuclear, like let Louisville win against them. He's super big, super tough, 6'2", 222 pounds, super young, like not even 22 yet.
Yeah, he's 21.
Fast and twitchy for his speed. Obviously, due to his ACL tear, he did not run the 40, but if I had to project, he is probably a 4.3 guy at 222 pounds. That is ridiculous. Like, we're talking about like DK Metcalf levels of athleticism. He's super twitched up. He makes guys miss all the time with juke moves. He has a great deep ball ability. Like, he's a burner. He bullies these guys at the point of contact. Super dangerous yak threat, like, due to his build and speed. Like, it's hard to tackle him. And then he's also super shifty and really quick. He's super dangerous outside the numbers and in the middle of the field. Like, just kind of all over, this guy's a good threat. And he uses his size, like, really, really well to box out DBs in 1v1 situations, on, like, shorter slant routes, on comeback routes. But the biggest problem with Chris Bell is obviously, I believe it was against SMU. He tore his ACL, which could completely wreck like all his skills. He's super fast, twitched up, good yak guy, and if he doesn't come back the same from this, like, he just won't be this good of a player. And I will be honest, like, his route tree was also not that developed. He kind of just spammed comebacks and crossers, and then would just win off of his size and speed. And he can occasionally get stuck on press, but outside of that, I really, really liked him. He had pretty solid production this year, 917 yards, 6 touchdowns, 72 catches, and was injured in the latter half of the season. So that's pretty damn good. Doesn't really drop the ball a decent amount, like only 3 drops this year. I just think, like, if he can come back from his ACL tear, like, he's a top 20 pick to me. Like, you don't see this size and speed this often. And he has shown, like, he dominates against Miami. That is not just like, that's not just a fluke. Like, 3-week elite stretch. I mean, he went, seriously, 135 yards, a touchdown, 170 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then 136 yards and 2 touchdowns, like, all in a stretch. Like, that's a wide receiver. I mean, like, honestly, for me, I think it would be better for him to be a super elite wide receiver too, but, like, he could probably be a low-end wide receiver 1 in the NFL. Like, he shown that he can take that pressure. But yeah, I'll be honest, like, it's really just this ACL injury. Like, where do you put your cards on that? Like, where do you gamble that? But I heard he's making great progress. Like, he's only 3 months in and he's like walking on it already, I think I saw. So, like, that's really good to see if you're a fan of him. But yeah, I mean, he would be higher than Tate, and he would be like almost my wide receiver 5 if he did not tear his ACL. So what do you think of him though?
Yeah, just as the player himself, I think he is top 10 talent as long as he comes back from his ACL. My biggest thing is his ACL.
Like top 10 in the draft?
Top 10 receiver. Top 10 receiver.
I say, holy shit.
No.
You like him more than me.
No, top 10 receiver based off of his skills.
Okay.
If he doesn't, if his ACL. My biggest thing was the difference between him and Tyson for me, where Tyson had his injury as well, is Tyson was already, like, before ACL, he was like easily the best receiver in college football. And Chris Bell is more like, he was good, but, like, he wasn't like that top end guy. And then when you also have a torn ACL on top of that, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of an issue for me. I don't know, like, if he's going to come back the same from that.
We actually view him pretty similarly. I mean, I'm a little higher on him, but, like, he would be in your top 10.
He would definitely be in my top 10.
More.
I'm just more worried about the ACL. He's obviously a great player. 94 plus grades on both 0 to 9 yard targets and 10 to 19 yard targets. Great in yak, great speed. He is extremely strong, and he's good in contested catch, good high point ability. The other thing I noticed about him is kind of like Brazel. He only had 2 targets on the left side of the field. I don't know what that was about this year. That's what I saw for his receiving depth. I saw he only had 2 targets on the left side of the field and for only 1 catch. So I don't know what that was about. I don't know if he has an issue with the left side of the field.
Interesting.
And then the other thing I noticed is
I didn't see that.
Sometimes for me, it seems like the effort isn't always there when he doesn't have the ball in his hand. I don't know if it was just like the clips I saw, but, like, when he has the ball in his hand, he is a force, and he's tough to take down. But, like, sometimes in, like, blocking reps, he was overall pretty good blocking a good blocker, but like there was some reps where it just like he seemed like he gave up, and I don't like that when he has a torn ACL as well. Just because
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
if you kind of get in that mindset and then you're also coming off an injury, it's a little bit scary for me. But overall, pre ACL, this dude is definitely a top 10 receiver in the draft, no question. But I do have my concerns about the ACL, especially because he wasn't like a top end talent wide receiver. I mean, maybe he would be for you. For me, I think he would have been a little bit lower still. But yeah, he's 21 and a half years old. Definitely time to develop. Still had a solid year despite being injured. Yeah, I think he's at 14, but I think he could be higher pre ACL.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be fun to watch too, because is he gonna fall? Is he gonna go high? I mean, I
Right.
think like it's funny because you mentioned his attitude, but he has kind of like a DK Metcalf-esque player where it's like
Mm-hmm.
where everyone's like, well, DK has a terrible personality, but he's getting paid like $40 million a year, whatever it is,
Right.
$35 million a year. So clearly they like kind of don't care about that.
Yeah.
But the ACL, I mean, it's really gonna be all, and like we don't know. The public doesn't know any other medical.
No idea.
If it's bad, then he'll fall. If it's
This is
good,
literally
then he
just
could
all
go, like,
speculation.
really high. Yeah.
It's just all
But
speculation.
in terms of the player he was before, great player.
Oh, yeah.
I love him.
Great.
I think he could be an elite wide receiver too. So yeah. Next, do you want to talk about Surratt?
Yeah, let's do Surratt. Yeah.
Okay. Well, who else is in your 6 to 10 that we haven't talked about?
I think we've talked about my entire list. Hold on. We
6 to
talked
10.
about. Oh, Omar Cooper's my 6.
Okay, so let's talk about Surratt first.
Let's talk about
I'm
Surratt.
higher
Yeah.
on Cooper than Surratt, and you're also higher on Cooper than Surratt. So
Yeah.
Elijah Surratt, man, he was probably one of my favorite receivers in this draft to watch. Like, honestly, from where he is consensus-wise to, like, where I saw him is way different. Like, one of the guys where I'm like, I think he's better than virtually everyone else. Like, I'm probably one of the highest guys in Elijah Surratt. Like, I think he could be, like, Chris Bell, low-end wide receiver 1 to a really, really good wide receiver 2. And my big thing with him is he fits one of the things I love. Insanely productive in huge games against the best comp virtually his entire career. He had 44 games in a row with a catch, maybe even higher. But this dude, since day one, I believe as a freshman, he wasn't at James Madison, but like as a freshman to a senior, every single year, production. Like he is a part of the offense. In 2024, he had 957 yards and 8 touchdowns. This year, he had 824 yards, 15 touchdowns. This dude was Mendoza's best friend in the end zone. And like touchdown monster, 23 in the last 2 years. That is elite. And he did that without Mendoza. He did it with Curtis Rourke. He did it with, obviously, Mendoza. He did it at James Madison even. He had like 600 or 700 yards when he was with Cignetti there. He has so many like clutch catches and like game-winning, season-saving catches for Indiana, because like everyone was against Indiana this year. If they lost one game, they would have been dropped in the rankings so much. Like this dude converted. I would love to see the stats on it, like how many third downs he converted, like an insane amount of third downs. He is good size too, like 6'2", 210. Just like I marked for him, he has 10 plus alpha games in the last 2 seasons. Like, I mean, I'm just trying to find games that are like really good. Oregon this year, 8 for 12, 121 yards and a touchdown. In the college football playoff against Oregon this year, 7 for 7, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. You cannot be more reliable than that. Last year versus, let's see. He, like this year, another one, like Iowa, 7 for 8, 156 yards and a touchdown. When the game was tied 13-13 with a minute left in the fourth, he takes that slant to the house like 50 yards and what does it get? Breaks the tackle to take the slant to the house. Wins them that game. This dude is about as clutch as it can get. He has elite body control. He has elite balance. He has acrobatic toe taps all the time. Great catch technique. He controls the point of attack with his bully ball mentality and physicality. I thought he was a really good route runner. I think that's the disconnect, is a lot of people think he's not a good route runner and he's like slow. But I thought he was a great route runner at every level. And like, I think it's because he's so smart. He started for 4 years. He's so smart. He knows all the soft spots in zone. I also thought he is a good route runner and he uses really good head fakes and dips. He's also a really good blocker. And this dude is an 89.4 man grade. Like Indiana has Charlie Becker, has Omar Cooper, and has Elijah Surratt. So you can never double these guys and you can never really play zone against these guys. Sometimes you have to play man. And like this guy's just a matchup nightmare, like everything you can do. And I get it, like he lacks elite burner speed, but I think he's faster than a lot of people think. Like he's projected to have like 4.65 speed. I think he's actually probably low 4.5 speed. I get it. Like, he doesn't have a lot of yak ability. He's not the best athlete overall. Like, he does lack burst to twitch. But, like, man, as your wide receiver too, this guy will win you games. Like, he makes catches. When you put, like, the game on this guy's shoulders, he delivers consistently over years on the biggest stage. Like, I literally said he's Batman because Indiana did not deserve him, but they needed him. And I just like when you are that big of a hero for a national championship winning team, like I do not think Indiana would have been nearly as good as they are without Elijah Surratt on this roster. It's just hard for me to ignore that. Like this guy is the definition of an alpha receiver. So obviously you are a lot lower than him. So I would love to hear what you think because clearly you don't view a lot of what I just said positively in the same light. So I would love to hear this.
Now, again, I think this class is very, very good. So having Surratt at 15 is not a diss to him. He's a great player. I think he will be a role player for sure in the NFL at the very least. I guess my biggest things for him, he's a touchdown machine, obviously. That's undeniable. Great touchdown production, great in the red zone. I mean, he was converting on huge downs when it was needed. I guess, yeah, you kind of hit on the big things for me that were struggles for me. I don't like his speed, especially his projected speed. He could definitely be faster than that. His on-field speed may be better. He doesn't have great speed, not great in yak, not great in contested catch. Only 40% is what I saw. So that's solid, but not amazing. And then he's a little bit on the older side, almost 23. He will be 23 by the time the season starts. So a little bit older. And then he had a hamstring issue this year. I don't know. I think he's probably fine. I don't know exactly where he's at with that. But yeah, I think overall, the thing that I got from Elijah Surratt was like he's solid, but I don't think he'll ever be like great. I think his PFF grades were all 85 plus except behind the line of scrimmage for receiving depth. But there wasn't like anything that really stood out to me when I was watching his tape. His production overall, other than touchdowns, wasn't amazing for playing 14 games, I should say. He only had 800 yards on 64 receptions. Excellent touchdown numbers, like I said, but everything else, the production, like he just didn't have it as high as you would think.
Can I say something about that really quick?
Yeah.
Was kind of thinking about that too, like, oh yeah, his yards aren't like crazy good. This running back, they have Roman Hemby in black, they have Charlie Becker, they have Omar Cooper Jr. All these guys need to eat. I think the fact that he has almost 1,000 yards and 15 touchdowns is insane. Because like we're talking about like all these guys are getting drafted, and Omar Cooper Jr. is a potential first-round pick. Charlie Becker could be a top 50 pick next year. Both of these running backs are getting drafted, and like Mendoza's kind of running the ball himself. And they also play very tempoed. Like when they beat up on teams, they rest their starters. So I actually thought that his production was really good for like the system that he was in. Like, because I also really like Omar Cooper Jr. and like, what are you supposed to do? Just like not let these guys eat. But they both did. So that actually wasn't as big of an issue for me. And like, I get what you're saying. His ceiling is obviously limited due to his athleticism. But man, I just think like what we were talking about with Jeremy being like a quarterback's best friend, I think that this guy is like the highest version of that. Like, what else does he need to show you where it's like, this is Mr. Reliable? Like, this is Batman, like saving your team. Like, what else does he need to be? Like, I get he's not going to be like an elite yak threat, but as like a wide receiver too, I mean, like the way I think about it, like him on the Giants with like Neighbors, if Neighbors comes back healthy and can be that alpha, and then this guy is just like your darts rolling out, who does he need to throw it to? Like Surratt's just always open. That like fits perfect for me. So I think that he's really, really good. I mean, obviously, I think he could be a low-end wide receiver one, but like I would rather have him be a wide receiver two because I think his skill set is best suited for that.
And you talked about Jeremy Bernard. The other concern that I would have, and this is more nitpicky, is just the fact that you did talk about all those mouths you need to feed for the production. And I think that's also something that could be an issue if he was getting open more because of all the options that Mendoza had and the skill set of Mendoza. Obviously, Mendoza is going to be the first player taken off the board. So obviously, Mendoza has the skill set to be elite. And he was elite in college. And then you have Omar Cooper, like you said, who I have above Elijah Surratt. How much did he feed into how well Elijah played? And I think that's a concern that I have as well, just because like when I was watching him, like his route trees and his route running is solid, but it just doesn't scream like amazing, like NFL level. And I wonder like how much he benefited off the fact that there were so many good players on Indiana as well.
just where we don't see him the same then.
Right. And I
But
still think
those are valid concerns.
and I still think Elijah Surratt definitely has a high ceiling. I think he could definitely be a great receiver in the NFL. I will also worry about his floor. For me, I think his floor is also solidly low. And that's where I have him a
Really, I
little
think
bit
he's
lower.
super high floor.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna be someone who I think could be a pretty reliable option if he's a wide receiver 2, maybe wide receiver 3. But I guess we'll see. I definitely could see him succeeding in the NFL. There's obviously a case for that. He was a touchdown machine in college, obviously, like you said, and that could definitely translate. So we'll see. I could definitely be wrong on my judgment of Elijah Surratt, but
yeah, I mean, only time will tell, to be honest. But
right.
I really like him, so I hope he works out. But who do we want to? Do we go into top 5s now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so obviously, like I haven't talked about Carnell Tate yet. Or Denzel Boston, but I think we will because I think both of them are in your top 5, correct? Okay, so my top 5 is 5 Skylar Bell, 4 Omar Cooper Jr., 3 Makai Lemon, 2 Casey Concepcion, and then 1 Jordan Tyson.
Okay.
Let's hear yours.
5 I have Casey Concepcion, 4 I have Denzel Boston, 3 I have Makai Lemon, 2 Carnell Tate, 1 Jordan Tyson.
Okay, so do you want to talk about Boston or Tate first? Boston. So where was he? He did. You want to talk about him because you're higher on him?
Yeah, I can talk about him. Let's see. All right, let me pull up some of his stats really quick. All right, so Denzel Boston. First thing I wrote down, he's definitely more of a traditional outside receiver archetype, which I really like. Excellent route runner, good release, great in 1-on-1 contested catches. He had I wrote it down, 76.9% contested catch rate in the Big Ten, which is elite. He has solid speed for excellent size, good ups and high point ability, help him overpower defensive backs. He also has good change of direction. He's 6'4", 212 pounds with 32-inch arms, almost 10-inch hands. He had an 88 overall PFF grade in 2025 with a 97.2 grade on 10 to 19-yard targets. He had a 90-plus grade on all depths of the field. He even had a 90-plus grade on targets behind the line of scrimmage, which is, I feel like, kind of unusual for an outside receiver. And yeah, he was just a really good deep threat, really good in intermediate field as well, and even short field. He had 11 touchdowns in 12 games on a talent-packed Washington Huskies offense. He only had 881 yards, but I still think that's pretty solid in the Big Ten for only 12 games. It's a little under 100-yard average. Some of his negatives were the fact that he's not the best after the catch. He doesn't have that elite speed that you would like to see. And he also had an ankle injury this last season that he had to go to the locker room. I'm pretty sure he's fine now, but that could be cause for concern. And yeah, I think other than that, he doesn't really have many downsides for me. I also saw he was a really good run blocker. But yeah, I'd be curious to see what brought him down for you.
Well, for me, it's pretty simple. The two things I care about are separation, the ability to separate, and the ability to be an alpha receiver. He was an alpha receiver, but these were all his best games. Rutgers, Northwestern, Washington State, Rutgers, and Illinois. 100-plus yards, usually 2 touchdowns in all those games. But versus Ohio State, 3 for 5, 26 yards. Versus Oregon, 4 for 6, 25 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, he has the touchdowns, but 25 yards on 4 catches, that isn't great. Against Indiana, 4 for 9, 43 yards. Against Penn State, 2 for 3, 35 yards. This is last year, by the way, for the Indiana and Penn State game. Last year versus Oregon, 2 for 3, 43 yards. And then their bowl game last year versus Louisville, 3 for 6, 27 yards. He just doesn't really play good against the big teams, and that's kind of concerning to me because I think he cannot separate at all. I bet he does probably run a 4.6. I don't like that at all. He has virtually no yak ability, and it shows. His release and his get off need work. I don't think his thing is, at least everyone else thinks his thing is, he's a good deep ball receiver. I think his release needs serious work, and I don't think he's fast enough off his break that he can even get downfield fast enough anyways. Personally, for me, I think he's really good with his bully ball ability and using his size on slants, that I would rather just have him be a really solid red zone mismatch. For me, he was probably a mid-tier wide receiver 2, low-tier wide receiver 2 that's really good in the red zone. And I think he should kind of change his game to model after that more. But I just never really took over any games that mattered, and he is just slow. Like, he's very slow. I don't think he's fast at all. I don't think he's going to, like, he could not separate in college at all. I don't think he'll be able to do it in the NFL. And these guys are just quick to bust. And when I just didn't really think he did all the stuff he was good at an elite level anyways, it was just like meh to me. Like, he's fine to me. I mean, like, he's probably a low tier wide receiver too, who's good in the red zone, but that's like it. I just don't think his abilities really translate to the NFL cleanly.
Okay.
So that's just kind of the disconnect for me. The two things I really care about, he's just like kind of lacking in one and super lacking in the other. So that's that. But I mean, it's not like I hate the guy. Like, if I still think he can be like a low tier wide receiver too, that means I think he's still pretty damn good. I just like don't like, I would not take him with a top 50 pick. And he gets talked about as like going to the Steelers at 21. And I'm just like, that's super rich for me. So that's all. I mean, like, I can tell you clear why I don't really like this guy as much as everyone else.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah, do we want to move to Carnell Tate now?
Yeah, I was gonna say him or Omar Cooper.
Tate is, well, we can talk about Cooper first. Because we kind of view him similarly, and Tate's going to be a really big talk because I don't like Tate as much as
I think that one we should save.
Else does. Okay, where do you have Cooper? Because Cooper's,
I have him at 6.
I think he is 1, 2, 3. He's 4 for me.
Okay. So pretty similar.
We view him probably very similarly. Yeah. So I'll talk about him. I watched Omar Cooper, and I noticed that D'Angelo Pons on CBS had an interview where he said, I think he's Davante Adams. Obviously, D'Angelo Pons is a pretty good player in this class. If it wasn't for his size, he would probably be a first-round pick easily. I went into this watching Omar Cooper. Damn, I see it. Like, I really do think he is like a mini Davante Adams. Super versatile alignment with good experience. And production in the slot and out wide. I mean, like, last year he had 594 yards, 7 touchdowns, 28 catches. This year really stepped up, 937 yards off of 69 catches and 13 touchdowns. Like, I thought he was really good in contested catch situations. I mean, like, the numbers aren't like great. 6 for 12 last year, 7 for 14 this year. But like, when he's winning, it's like, I feel like that's like an NFL rep of how he can win it. He just needs to replicate it more. I thought he was a really good athlete with good speed. Like, I was surprised. I didn't think he had 4.42 speed. I thought he was a little worse than that, but still, like, damn, dude, you showed that. 37-inch vert, too, good explosion. I think where I see the Davante Adams is his elite ball skills. Like, really good body control, really good balance. Like, his catch and follow through technique is great. He finds soft spots in zones really well. Super solid blocker. And I also think, like, Davante Adams is, like, super savvy, exceptional route runner with, like, a really good release. And I thought Omar Cooper was like, fit that bill.
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, we'll cut this out. I don't know what happened to my...
No, my one AirPod just died, so I had to... Yeah, put the one in, and for some reason this audio is super weird. Is it still picking it up, though?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, good. So, yeah, I mean, I was just talking about how I think he's a really great route runner with a really good release. But, like, the only things that I'm a little concerned about, he lacks, like, field stretching speed. Like, I don't really think he can be, like, a super elite deep ball receiver. Like, obviously, I wish he had, like, 4.3 speed for that. His biggest games are, like, Indiana State and West Illinois. He kind of fails to, like, take over big games and ever be, like, a true alpha threat. But kind of like Surratt, like, there's so many mouths to feed at Indiana that the way he wins, I think, is going to be translatable to that in the NFL, where there won't be as many mouths to feed. For me, I think Omar Cooper Jr., I mean, obviously he's my 4th receiver in a good class. Like, I think he can be a mediocre wide receiver 1. And I mean, like, I'm not sure with his size and, like, lacking of elite athleticism if he can ever be, like, a true elite wide receiver 1. But overall, I thought he was just, like, really solid. I was super impressed with him. Can see where the hype train is coming from. Honestly, like, I would probably take him around the 20s in this draft. So what do you think about him, though?
Yeah, I thought a lot of the same things as you. And before I do that, I also have a graphic for him versus Davante Adams, which I thought was interesting. So they're both similar in height. Davante Adams is a little bit heavier, longer arms, but Omar Cooper, bigger hands, faster speed, and about a very similar vertical. So I thought that was pretty interesting comp from D'Angelo Pons. I think that he could definitely morph into something like Davante Adams, especially because Davante Adams was like a mid-second round pick. I think Omar Cooper, for me, he's like a early second, but I could definitely see him creeping into the late first. So I did think that comp was interesting. But I kind of have him as, my first thing that I put for him was relentless runner with impeccable balance. I think he's just really good in the open field, especially on wide receiver screens, slants. He knows how to get open and then use that open field to his advantage. he was kind of like Surratt. He was a touchdown machine, 13 touchdowns in 16 games. And I mean, just that Indiana receiving core just feasted on touchdowns. Yeah, really good in open. I said he was probably the best receiver in open field, which I feel like he might be the best receiver in the open field outside for me of like Zachariah Branch. And yeah, he's 6 foot, 199, solid size, decent arm size. I was also impressed by his 40 speed. I did not expect him to run a 4.42.
Me neither,
So
yeah.
that was really good. 99.9 grade on intermediate center targets, 7 for 9, 182 yards, 3 touchdowns. 97.1 grade on 10 to 19 yard targets. So he's just a really reliable target. Gets open. The things I had that I didn't like as much were, again, just the yards production, and I know that's kind of like that could be a thing with the mouths to feed. He couldn't eclipse that 1,000 yards and he played all 16 games. So to me, that's a little bit more concerning, but definitely not that big of an issue. Also, was kind of concerned. I saw like this year he had a really good year, but I don't think his year last year was amazing, if I remember correctly.
600 yards, 7 touchdowns off 28.
So it was solid. This was more of a breakout year for him. Last year was decent. But this year was like his.
I will say there's a very big attitude problem apparently with him. Last year he was like skipping practices and apparently did not care, and like body language just didn't show a lot of effort. Apparently a lot of people in the building said this year he like really stepped up and like, wanted to increase his role. So like the thing was is they said the talent was always there. It was just the effort last year as to why he didn't have a bigger season, and then this season like you kind of saw the results of that. I don't know like how true that is, but that's what came out of Indiana. So if that explains that a little bit for you.
Yeah, but overall, I think my biggest thing with Cooper is he has a very high floor. I don't think he'll be like I don't think he's going to be the type of guy to like have an extreme bust year. I think he'll be solid if he get whoever he gets taken, and he also has a decent ceiling, which is why I think he's a high second, late first. My biggest thing why he's at 6 for me is I just don't think he has high enough ceiling to compete with the guys above him for me. I think he definitely, like you said, could maybe become a mid wide receiver 1, but I feel like to me that's his ceiling, and I feel like for all the 5 guys ahead of him, I think all could become alpha wide receiver 1s potentially, or at least good wide receiver 1s. Whereas Omar Cooper would be that kind of mid-tier wide receiver 1.
I agree. Like the tier difference between him and Makai Lemon. Although I would say Makai Lemon is, since he's purely like a slot guy.
Yeah, that's true. But Makai Lemon is a little bit different just because he's so elite in the slot.
Yeah, but like I do agree that I think there is like a tier drop off. At least close to Omar Cooper, where he is. I don't really ever see him being like a top wide receiver in the NFL, but I do think he could be like very solid. Like maybe a little better than like a Cortland Sutton type receiver.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. I was very surprised by him. I really, really like him. Do you want to talk about Carnell Tate? Because this is probably the biggest conversation that we're going to have.
This is definitely the biggest conversation we're going to have. We can do that.
He's 2 for you. He's 7 for me. I have a lot to say about Carnell Tate because I really like him as a person. He's kind of like Jeremy for me, where I'm just like, but I'm not going to let my bias get in the way of that.
Yeah.
You know, Carnell Tate last year had 52 catches for 733 yards, 4 touchdowns. Nothing great. Fine. This year, 51 catches for 875 yards and 9 touchdowns. The big number that pops for him, though, is 12 for 14 contested catches, 85.7%. Tate, to me, is like just a true X receiver. I think he's a really great route runner. He tracks deep balls at an elite level. He has really good sideline balance and body control. He had 0 drops this year, so like elite hands. Like you can trust him on the outside. He's a super good competitive blocker. I think he finds soft spots and zones. Like, I have no doubt that he's a super smart receiver, like Ohio State does this to their guys. He manipulates defenders to find the weaknesses in them, and his contested catchability is ridiculous. Like, I 100% see that. However, like, I've always been, once again, my 2 things, like, it's not hard to see why I don't like Tate as much as everyone else. I like receivers that separate. He's not fast. He ran a 4.53 40. Like, my threshold is 4.55. If you run slower than that, I do not think you will be able to separate at the NFL level. Like, that's my threshold. He is 0.02 away from that. On top of not really being able to do it in college, in my opinion. I think it's obvious his burners are lacking. When he's winning downfield, he's winning off of cooking someone on a good route. And for me, he can't separate. And then he's also literally never been that alpha threat. And we've had this conversation before. What he's best at is contested catchability, which first off will not, the variation in contested catch, it will go down in the NFL. He will not be catching 85% of his balls. He will probably be catching close to 50, maybe 60 at the next level. My problem with it though is I actually think the fact that that's his best skill is super overblown by the fact that he's literally always been a Robin to not just a good wide receiver, generational wide receiver who will probably go first overall, if not for quarterbacks. Jeremiah Smith is insane. And this is what I've said to you. Like Carnell Tate in the biggest games, he does not play good. In the Rose Bowl versus Oregon 2024, 1 for 3, 10 yards. Versus Penn State last year when Penn State was good, 2 for 3, 15 yards. Last year against Oregon, 1 for 2, 13 yards. Last year against Tennessee in the college football playoff, 1 for 1, 18 yards. These are all big games. In the Cotton Bowl versus Miami this year, 3 for 8, 37 yards. Like, this doesn't sound like a wide receiver one to me. In the Natty versus Notre Dame, 2 for 3, 35 yards. In the Cotton Bowl versus Texas last year, I'll admit, he had a good game. 7 for 9, 87 yards. And that's not even like that elite of a game. But like, let me then say this. You're like, well, he has good games. 9 for 10, 183 yards, and a touchdown versus Minnesota. First off, Minnesota's DBs and NFL talent overall, as a Minnesota fan, are not that good. They're fine. The fact that our DBs are actually our best part of our team is fine. But when you like think about it like this, if Carnell Tate's on the right and Jeremiah Smith is on the left, who's the best corner guard? Jeremiah Smith. Safety shadowing. The safety is never on the side of Carnell Tate ever. So this dude is consistently feasting against like Minnesota and Ohio and Nebraska's third best DB. He's literally never getting double teamed. He is never going against their best corner. And like Nebraska, Minnesota, Wisconsin, their best DB already isn't that great. So he's doing this against the DB3s on all these teams. And I think that he is just such a beneficiary of Jeremiah Smith. Like, I think Jeremiah Smith is the reason that this guy is what he is. And I also think Julian Sayin was one of the most accurate quarterbacks. I think he actually might have been the most accurate quarterback in college football history, or at least was for like half of the season. You don't think that helps a perimeter receiver who does main thing is contested catch when it's right in the bucket? So I don't know. Like, I just think like I watched this guy. He can't separate. He's such a beneficiary off of Jeremiah Smith. Even if he wasn't, his best trait is not going to be this good at the NFL in his contested catch ability. He's not that elite of an athlete. He's not like super big. He's only 6'2", 192. It's not like this guy is like DK Metcalf size anyways. I'm like, what about this guy is a top 10 talent? Please tell me. And obviously you view him as the second best wide receiver. So I actually like want to have this conversation because I'm so intrigued what other people see that I just don't. Now, here's what I want to say before you tell me. I do not think Carnell Tate is bad. I think he can be a really good wide receiver too. Like actually like really good. Like one of the best. That's what all these guys in this range I think could be. That's why I like this wide receiver class a ton. I think there's a really good amount of really good wide receiver too. But like he can't play in the slot either, so he's not that versatile. I just don't know like what am I missing with this? I get that he's young, so maybe he could develop. Like when he goes 6th overall to the Browns, I'm like, that's so rich for me that I would like cry if I were a Browns fan. I don't even think I would take this guy in like the 20s with the Browns' second pick. So I need you, who I trust, to tell me what of his things is top 5 talent, because that's what everyone sees in him, is a top 5 talent, and I don't see a single thing that's even top 10 or top 20 really. So I'm gonna shut up and let you just talk, and we'll talk after you're done.
Well, first off, I want to preface that I do not think he's a top 10 talent. I think he's 10 to 20, maybe 20 to 25 is where I'd throw him. I'd say mid to late first is what I would say. Second of all, I will do my best. First of all, I did want to talk about, I wanted to compare him to Emeka Egbuka because I think that's a good comparison to have, because Emeka Egbuka had a solid year, and Egbuka definitely has the weight advantage. The thing I also like about Carnell Tate is his hand. He has huge hands and a good wingspan. That's kind of what I like. That's kind of what I liked about Jacoby Lane as well. Is Jacoby Lane has the biggest hands of any wide receiver I looked at, and I think that really is an underrated aspect of wide receivers, just because it helps so much with catching the ball. His 40 time is obviously not as good as you'd like it to be, especially as someone who's supposed to be a deep threat.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that I saw with Emeka Egbuka that the reason I have Carnell Tate like maybe about the same to a little bit lower than where Emeka Egbuka was drafted is Emeka Egbuka's production. Emeka Egbuka had 30 more receptions last year, but he only had 125-ish more yards. But still, the 30 receptions is a big difference. Now, I want to talk about more about what I actually like about Carnell Tate because I do actually think he's more than just a contested catch guy. When I watch his tape, I actually really, really like his route running. I know he doesn't have the speed.
Me too. Yeah.
But his route running, I do think, is the best of any receiver in this draft. I think he has the best route running of any receiver in this. He looks so smooth, and I know that you think the DBs, and this is definitely
I think Tyson's a way better route runner personally. But...
And I have Tyson as the best receiver in this draft. I love Tyson. Yeah. I think Tyson is an excellent player. He should go top 10. Carnell Tate, his routes are so smooth, and he creates so much separation for how much slower he is. Like, he's only a 4.53 speed, and I feel like regardless of who the corner is, the separation he creates is really good. And like I was just watching some film breakdown yesterday, I think, of Carnell Tate, and like he has the moves and the hand fighting and the route running ability to get open anywhere on the field. And I actually think he's not just a deep route runner, he's also an intermediate guy who is very reliable. I mean, just go off PFF grades. He had a 99.9 grade on 20 plus, which is deep yards, but he had a 98.8 on intermediate grade. And he had a 91.5 on short grade. I think he's just going to be a type of guy in the NFL who can get you those chunky yards just by creating his separation. And along with his big hands and solid wingspan, I think he's going to be a catching machine if you get him in the right system. Obviously, his concerns with him benefiting off Jeremiah Smith are real. That is my biggest concern for him. I think that's definitely something to watch out for, and that's why I don't have him as a consensus top 10 pick in this draft, because I don't think you can trust that completely, especially when you have so many weapons on Ohio State. That's something to be wary of. But I do like how he stepped up this year after Emeka Egbuka was drafted into that wide receiver 2 position on Ohio State. I think he played really well for what he was supposed to do. Obviously, amazing on deep balls, really good on intermediate. Just overall, I think he's the most NFL-ready receiver just from playing.
I can see it from your perspective, for sure.
I think just because he's played with so many prospects.
Yeah, he's a pro. He is.
And
sure.
he's playing with the best receiver in college football. He has a coach who knows how to develop players. He's in a really good position for a wide receiver, as good of a position as you possibly can be in, honestly.
One of my problems too is
because then you're developed correctly, and then you develop these skills that are necessary in the NFL. And that's why I think you see like Egbuka last year, he had an 1,000-yard season, but he was still behind Jeremiah Smith for the most part. And he was drafted first.
Can I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
You bring up Egbuka, and I want to say this because you're comparing the two. Because Egbuka was a top 10 talent for me last year, top 15. Like, he was my wide receiver one. I liked him way more than Tetairoa McMillan. I thought Egbuka, on top of being bigger weight-wise, I thought he was just as good as a route runner, maybe even better, and he's so much faster. Egbuka was so much faster. Like,
he only ran a 4.46.
Separate. Yeah, but I think that like his in-game speed and like his ability to separate were like levels higher. Like, Tate looks slower than a 4.53 on field, in my opinion.
Really? I would disagree, actually. I think he looks faster.
I don't think he gets out of his release fast. I mean, like, when he's winning, and this is also my thing, he's winning off of like head movements, shoulder dips, off of his intelligence, which is also like when you're facing a team's like Minnesota's DB3, like, yeah, that's going to work. But when you're facing NFL corners, like, is your head movement going to be the reason you're getting open? No, It's going to be because you're an elite separator. And like, yeah, the route running's there for him, but I don't think it's as elite as everyone says it is. Personally, I think he really just looks that much better because he, like, I'm going to be honest, Ohio State kind of played bums. Like, they did not play good teams. I mean, his best games are against Wisconsin, Nebraska, Minnesota, and Ohio. Ohio's, you know, like the fucking green MAC team.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you heard me say against Oregon, 1 for 3, 10 yards. Penn State, 2 for 3, 15 yards. Against Oregon again, 1 for 2, 13 yards. Like, all these good games that they played in, because Ohio State played in these big games, he did not be the alpha one time. They played Texas, and he did 7 for 9, 87 yards, no touchdowns. That's fine. You need to show me something. because look at over at Jeremiah Smith, who's getting doubled, and he's putting up like he's going lights out against Oregon. I mean, he's like putting up 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like this guy should be the one doing this because he should be the beneficiary of I'm not doubled and their third best DB is on me, and he's not. He's not taking over these big games. How do you have faith to take a guy top 10 when not only is he not good, he sucks. Like, he did not play good against Oregon at all, against Penn State, against Oregon in the second game, against Tennessee, against Miami, against Notre Dame. Like, all these games in the biggest stage against big competition, he was shut down in, like, 1 catch, 1 for 3, 10 yards. Like, we're talking about, like, this is what you'd expect from, like, the wide receiver 4 or, like, the backup tight end. Like, this is not a top 5 pick. If any other top 5 pick, like, you put Tyson in his spot, you think Tyson's putting up those stats? No. That's just what I think. Like, I think if you replace him in all of Ohio State's big games, which, by the way, they lost this game against Miami because they threw the ball to him 8 times this year. He only caught it 3 times for 37 yards. They put their faith in him when Jeremiah Smith was being locked up by Miami's DBs, which are really good, and they lost because he could not convert. Like, he could not. They lost that game. They could not get offense because Cardinal Tate, supposed top 10 pick, could not do anything. They targeted him 8 times. He got it 3 times for 37 yards. Like, I just look at this. I'm like, I think if you put Skylar Bell in this position, he's doing better. I think if you put Omar Cooper Jr., Mekhi Lemon, Casey Concepcion, Elijah Surratt, like, I think they would all separate and all win that game for Ohio State. But when it came down to it, all these games, like, this dude is lucky that he was the wide receiver 2 last year and that they could put faith in Jeremiah Smith because they would have lost in the first round of the playoff with how he played. He did not play good. And I'm sorry, bro, but, like, on the biggest, not you, but, like, Cardinal Tate, on the biggest stage, you cannot do that. And it just makes me think, like, he sucked against all these really good teams. All these really good, like, he did. His best game was against Texas, and he went 7 for 9, 87 yards. It's not even that elite. Like, sorry. I mean, he had all these games, maybe more games than any receiver in this class against elite competition, and he failed astronomically. Like, I hate to be this harsh on a guy that personality-wise, I like. Like, this guy, I think he's going to bust if the Browns take him at 6. I do. I do not think he can be a wide receiver 1. And I think if you take him to be like an alpha, like, bro, if you're taking a wide receiver at 6, you're taking him to be like a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. I don't think he can be that. And I know I'm kind of going on a rant here, but, like,
no, it's good. I like it.
He's 7 for me for a reason. And I know everyone's like looking at this like, you've lost your damn mind. Please tell me how I have. Like, I say all these things and people just agree with me. They don't really disprove it. Like, you just think he's a slightly better route runner than me. And I get that. Like, that does matter a ton. He is a good route runner. But I just don't see how he's and obviously you don't see him as a top 10 pick. So you're not, like, one of these people. But, like, please, I would love to ask, like, one of these people, like, what about him as top 10? Because Emeka Egbuka, who did literally everything better, had more production, actually performed in big games for them, was more clutch, wasn't even top 10 for me. He was top 15. And he was better in everything. So, I don't know. I just know that people are going to give me shit for this, and I have gotten shit for this, and I just, like, need to put my cards on the table and be like, please tell me how I'm wrong. I don't know.
I respect the I don't see it on tape. I don't.
And saying so accurate, too.
Yeah. And for me, like, last minute, I switched him and Mekhi Lemon because for me, it's a toss up for that. I think just because they're different types of players, like Cardinal Tate plays more outside, Mekhi Lemon plays more slot. I don't know which to value more, but I really, when I was watching his tape, I really liked his route running and separation. And I know you don't like his separation as much in his speed, but, like, I truly think he's the best route runner in the class. And that's saying over Jordan Tyson. And, like, I love Jordan Tyson. And I just think, like, that alone, being the best route runner in your class, should warrant a top 3 wide receiver. That's just how I look at it. And, I don't know.
Yeah. You just come back to the fact that, like, you take him at 6 to the Browns or any of these, like, top 10 teams.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So, like, but straight up, every week in the NFL is, like, playing Oregon or Penn State, right? Like, you'd agree with that, right?
Oh, it's way better. It's way better, yeah.
Yeah, and let's be honest, if he goes to the Browns, he doesn't have Julian Sain passing him the ball. He doesn't benefit off of Jeremiah Smith and
Bro, what do you mean? Shedeur Sanders is better than Julian Sain, bro.
But, like, okay, like, you would agree his situation gets worse and the comp only gets harder. Well, great. We can see how he plays in these really elite games. Against Oregon, 1 for 3, 10 yards. Penn State, 2 for 3, 15 yards. Like, I know this is like the 3rd time I've said this. Oh, Oregon again, 1 for 2, 13 yards. Oh, Tennessee, 1 for 1, 18 yards. Miami, 3 for 8, 37 yards. There's your preview right there about your top 5 pick.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he does when the game's on the line. If you draft him at 6, the game's going to be in Carnell Tate's on the line of him every single week. That's the results right there. That's what you get.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to be a wide receiver too. He's never not been a Robin. He needs to be a Robin to someone's Batman. That's just my opinion. I don't think he's shown you anything to be a wide receiver 1, let alone a top 5 or top 10 wide receiver. Just personally. But now that I'm done absolutely hating on Carnell Tate, who's still a great player, by the way, I just want to preface that. I just, for his own sake, think he needs to be drafted lower. Who do we want to move on to next? Should we talk about Skylar Bell? Because he's
Makai Lemon and Jordan Tyson left, I think.
Casey Concepcion too.
And Casey Concepcion. Yeah.
All right, so let's
do
talk
Skylar
about
Bell.
Skylar Bell, because what is he for you? He is not good
13.
for you, right? 13. All right. So Skylar Bell was kind of the opposite, funnily enough, like when I watched Carnell Tate, I said, what about this guy screams top 10? When I watched Skylar Bell, I said, why is this guy not a first rounder? Like, I don't get it. Skylar Bell is incredibly productive in his last 2 seasons. So productive that the offense runs through him. Like this year, he had 141 targets.
Third most in FBS.
1,300 yards, 13 touchdowns. Like, this dude was a Blitnikoff finalist for a reason. He's super versatile playing in the slot and out wide. He's an elite athlete. I thought so. Like, in 11-1 broad, that's 98th percentile. This dude can jump out of the gym. 41-inch vertical, 96th percentile on a 4.440. All this shows on tape. Elite athlete, 90th percentile athlete, 0.65 RAS. I think his route running is elite. For me, he might be the best route runner in the class. Like, honestly. It's probably him or Tyson for me. I think he sinks his hips and breaks off routes at an elite level and that perfect timing. This dude's an elite yak threat. You give him on a slant or on a comeback route, like he's breaking tackles, he's cribbing it. He has great tempo in his routes, which makes him impossible to cover in man. He has an 81 man grade. Like, honestly, I really saw no corners being sticky with him. Like, he always loses them at one point in the route because of how tempoed they are. He has big hands, inch hands, 77th percentile hands to make his catch radius huge, which is awesome because, you want to play him outside. He can make those catches happen. You want to play him in the slot. He can use that to overpower tight coverage. I thought he was dangerous at all levels of the field. Like, he played deep. He played great deep balls, deep intermediate balls, dangerous on the slant, dangerous on screens too. I thought he was super twitchy, overall. You see that with his missed tackles that he forces and, I thought he was super explosive off the line. And he makes crazy acrobatic catches frequently. Another thing that I loved about him was how competitive he is. He'd get tackled off of a screen where it's not his fault, right? The blocker gets blown past and he gets tackled. Dude's pissed. He'll get caught up on an ankle tackle where you can tell he would have cribbed it and he'll be pounding the ground. He's so bad. And when he scores, he celebrates his ass off. You can tell he loves UConn. He loves his teammates. He goes crazy. And I just love that, super competitive in nature. I'll be honest, he has more drops than I'd like. 8 drops in 2024. This year he improved upon that vastly with literally 50 more targets too. He halved his drops, 4 drops. It's not terrible on 100 catches. I just wonder if that's going to be a problem since it was the year before. He is older. I will say that. He'll be 24 on draft day, which is why, honestly, if he was younger, he would probably be better than Makai Lemon for me, personally. I do think he, skill-wise, is better, but obviously Makai's way younger. He does have a smaller frame, 6 foot, 192 pounds is not, super elite. He probably won't win on the outside consistently because of that. And to do that, he kind of does struggle against press and physical corners. But this guy's a yak monster. I get it. He doesn't have elite comp that he plays against either. But, he has good enough games against Syracuse, Duke, Boston College, Maryland, he had 5 for 6, 141 yards. I mean, he bullies, MAC teams, too. When he plays these weak teams, he puts up, 150 yards, 3 touchdowns. So I'm yeah, I wish he played against better comp. But, it's not he's an FCS guy. He's still beating up on Duke and Syracuse. Duke was an ACC champ this year, and he had 11 for 15, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's pretty good. So outside of that and his age, I think this guy's elite. Honestly, I think he can be a middle to a high end tier wide receiver 1. I really, really like Skylar Bell, and I just think when I'm so much higher on him than everyone else, and I don't really get why. Obviously, I'm super intrigued to hear your perspective, but I mean, like, this guy's a freak athlete. He doesn't have anything that's like super holding him back outside of his age. And I just thought he was so good all over the field that I'm like, even if you don't think he's a wide receiver one, I struggle how you don't think this guy is like a really, really good wide receiver too. But I'd love to hear your perspective, because what was he, 13 for you?
Yeah, he was 13, but I just want to see what I graded him. I still had him as an early third. I think he's definitely has the potential. Definitely has a high ceiling. He was kind of similar to who did I say had a low floor? I'm trying to remember. I just think he has a lower floor than a lot of guys. Yeah, Surratt. I just think he has a lower floor than a lot of guys, which is an issue for me. And then my biggest issues for him are his age, which is not that.
Why do you think he has a low floor? Can I ask?
I'm getting to that.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. So my biggest concerns for him are his age, and then his comp, which I think is okay. I worry a little bit about it he's a little bit smaller, not really small, but he's only 6', 192, and he also isn't the greatest against press. He's pretty average against press man.
Yeah, he's not great.
He also, I feel like he almost over relies on Yak as well sometimes. Like he only had like 400 yards off routes.
Sure.
So if he can't separate in the NFL and he can't get the ball in his hands, like how is he gonna create that production? Is my biggest thing. Like,
sure.
Like I don't know. He was one of the most fun to watch because he just like he gets the ball in his hands and he's relentless. He just like he won't get taken down. He has great sets of moves. He extremely athletic, obviously 9.71 RAS. But yeah, I didn't like his blocking. It was really bad. He had like 5 holding penalties. He had a good contested catch rate, 65%. But again, he's not in a great conference, so I would like to see how that would translate to the NFL. And then to me, he screamed like mid to high wide receiver 2, which is kind of why I graded him in the early third. Definitely athletic freak. Definitely has the ability to move up to that wide receiver 1 potentially.
So can I ask really quick? You said he was a mid to high wide receiver 2.
Yeah, like potential. Like I think that's his ceiling, in my opinion.
Okay, so because I was gonna say, I mean, if the average wide receiver 2 that's mid to high, like skill wise, gets taken in the back end of the first round.
I mean,
but Jordan Addison and Zay Flowers were both taken at 21 and 22, and they're wide receiver.
But I think that's a ceiling.
That's where Skylar Bell I think could go. But then even if you were lower on that, I'm don't you think he could be a second round pick, or do you just what do you think? What do you like about him the least? I guess what do you think brings him down the most for you?
His comp, I think, is
competition.
Yeah, and also he plays that outside role, but he's only 6 feet tall. I think he definitely has the contested catch ability, but I would just like to see how he would play against NFL corners, especially if he struggles with press. That was the other biggest thing, was his press man ability. He just isn't great at separating against press man. He's good against zone, but he was just. So
how is Bryce Lance not lower for you then? Because Bryce Lance is higher than him, right?
Because he's 4 inches taller and he's faster. Again, for me, I think Skylar Bell played against better comp, but
way better. Duke and Syracuse are a lot better than SEMO, in my opinion.
And the other thing is Bryce Lance had almost as many yards with half the receptions. You look at Skylar Bell and he gets 141 targets in a season. So he just gets fed the ball, and that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying if he's not getting fed the ball in the NFL, is he really going to be that productive? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah,
so I will say, when you said his production where a lot of it comes before, he's dependent on Yak, that's just kind of UConn's offense, in my opinion. I think he showed that he can get the ball outside of that. I think he's a good enough route runner. I think he's 4.4 speed. I mean, he's literally almost a 4.3 speed guy. He has great hands. Big hands, I mean. And I get the comp thing, I get that, but it's the fact that in 11 out of his 12 games, he had what I categorize as an alpha game, which is pretty much 100 yards and a touchdown. Literally every week, I get he's not playing great teams, but he does play Duke and Syracuse and Buffalo and Boston College and Maryland and but then when he plays Delaware, he's putting up 100 yards. When he plays Rice, 160 yards and a touchdown. Central Connecticut State, he's putting up 135 yards and 2 touchdowns. So when he every week he is dominating. And whether it's like a pretty good team or like a really bad team, like there's no like every week this guy comes to play. And I guess like I see your concerns. Like, yes, he's older, but like I don't think you need to develop him into an athlete or anything because he's already at that level. I will admit, like, he's not great against press or anything, but I don't think it's like an issue that I would like drop him a ton for. And I wouldn't really play him. Like, I get that his size limits him to the outside perimeter, but I wouldn't really play him like that anyways. And I think the team that's going to draft him isn't really going to want to play him like that anyways. Like, they would kind of have him like a Brandon Ayuk role where you're not like winning on the numbers. So like for me, a lot of the stuff that like I get it, like if you were looking at the average NFL team, they're not gonna view him as highly as like they're gonna have like your opinion. But I think that there's probably like 5 to 8 teams in the NFL that like love this guy. And like they're like he could be our wide receiver 1 in our system. And that's kind of that's why I like him so much. Like obviously he's not like top 3 for me because obviously that group in the NFL is smaller than it could be. For me, it's hard to think that he's not going to be like a top 50 pick. Like one of these teams I think is going to pull the trigger. Like I get there's only like 5 to 8 of them, but like I think there are going to be teams where like you could be our wide receiver 1 and we can get you in the second round. So let's do this.
Yeah, I guess
I just think like, yeah, he's uber productive, really, really good athlete. Like I was surprised. Like 11-1 broad is fucking nuts. That's
really good.
I think you can see it. Like I think he has crazy burst and like he gets out of his routes so quick. And yeah, I just think like I get like he doesn't play against super elite corners, but like Duke has Terry Moore and Chandler Rivers. That's a really good DB safety, and like he dunked on Duke. 2 touchdowns against Duke. Like both of them were on Chandler Rivers. If I believe, I know for a fact he had a touchdown on Chandler Rivers. Like that's a guy that's going to be drafted probably in the top 3 rounds this year. So like, I'm not too worried about that comp wise. Like usually I am the one that is worried about that. Like that's like why I don't think Bryce Lance is good at all. But he's just too good of an athlete and too productive to ignore, in my opinion. And then like I watched his tape and I thought he was so polished as a route runner. Like I genuinely think like him and Tyson, very, very, very elite separators, like probably 2 of the best with Makai Lemon as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where he gets drafted because I think, like, for me, I do think a team's going to pull a trigger on him, but, like, how soon?
Right.
Is someone going to trade up for him? I don't know, but obviously I do admit I'm a lot higher than him than a lot of other people, so, yeah, I just, like, personally, I think it's crazy that you have like Bryce Lance over him. Obviously, your opinion is your opinion, and there'd be 1,000 people defending you saying I'm crazy for calling Carnell Tate 7th receiver. So I'm not going to get like personal with it, but I like Bell a ton. So.
No, and like I said, like watching him was really fun. Like he's really good after the catch.
Yeah.
He's an electric player. I guess I just have my concerns, and I definitely think he has a high ceiling. So that's definitely where someone could trade up and pick him. Yeah. For me, how I view it is everyone in my top 15 receivers is a receiver that has the potential to be a good NFL receiver because this class is just good. I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Do you want to talk about Makai Lemon next?
Yeah, let's do it.
Concepcion?
We can do Makai.
Okay, so Makai for me is 3rd.
That's where I have him too.
Okay, perfect. So Makai Lemon, do you want to talk about him? Because I just went off on about Skylar Bell.
Yeah, let me pull up some of his stuff quick, and I will talk about him. So yeah, Makai Lemon is, I think he's without a doubt the best true slot guy in the draft. I don't think there's really an argument there, in my opinion. He's up there for the best receiver in the draft for a run after the catch. Great against man coverage. Can get open in zone, find the gaps. Contested catch is unreal for being smaller and a slot guy. I didn't actually. Oh, I did write it down. He has a 71.4% contested catch as a slot guy, which is actually crazy. He is most efficient on deep balls and screen passes. Solid speed and athleticism. He's 5'11", 192, so he's a little bit bigger for a slot guy too. I mean, I guess not bigger, but he's more of the prototypical size. He was super productive this year. He had 79 catches for 1,100 yards, almost 1,200 yards, and 11 touchdowns in 12 games. So I mean, that is elite production in a good conference. And then he had a 99.9 grade on deep balls, 99.9 grade on I already said that. 99.9 grade on deep balls. And then he had a 94.5 on short targets, 0.1 behind the line of scrimmage, 92.8 on intermediate. Like, this dude is just, like, insane everywhere on the field. He caught
Yeah.
19. He caught 19 of 20 targets behind the line of scrimmage for 140 yards and a touchdown this year. Um, he had 8 for 13 on deep center targets for 327 yards and 2 touchdowns. 16 for 24 on all deep targets for 522 yards and 5 touchdowns. I mean, like, this dude is productive behind the line of scrimmage, deep down the field, intermediate field. The biggest thing for me is he has really small hands, and that's very nitpicky. It's very nitpicky, but like that's I like small hands, and then he's probably not going to be that true wide receiver one guy. He's going to be more of a slot guy probably.
Yeah.
Which is another downside. Like, you're not going to take him to be your alpha wide receiver one unless you really trust he can play that position. Like, I just don't know if he can do that as a smaller slot guy. And then he's just not a great blocker, which I feel like is pretty normal for a slot guy. But yeah, I'm interested to hear what you have.
Yeah, so with Mekhi, we kind of view him very similarly. Like, I'll be honest, like Omar Cooper Jr. and Skylar Bell, I have right beneath him, but I both think that they have a way better chance of being like a wide receiver one. But the thing with Mekhi is I think you draft him and he's one of the best, if not the best wide receiver twos, and probably instantly one of the best slots.
Right.
In the NFL. Yeah, like elite hands, contested catchability overall, super good yak guy. I mean, like the stop and start speed out of his breaks and cuts and start of routes is like super elite. I thought he had really elite awareness. His boundary work was really good. Actually, like a pretty decent blocker as well. The thing for me is like why I'm a little worried, some of the bigger matchups in his career he has struggled against. Like Notre Dame this year, 4 for 5, 76 yards. Like it's fine. But, like, they needed him in that game, and Leonard Moore kind of shut him down when it mattered most. Like, against...
Which, to be fair, Leonard Moore was really good this season.
Yeah,
but, like, still.
But Leonard Moore plays outside, and he played in the slot specifically this game just to guard Mekhi. And so he played out of position and still kind of shut him down when needed. I mean, like, I guess to say he doesn't play good against bad or good comp is kind of, like, unfair to him because he does put up, like, decent games. He just never really, like, takes over. Like, he kind of gets, like, 70 to 100 yards, which is fine, but, like, a lot of people think this guy is, like, a top 10 pick, and I just wanted to see a little bit more for that level of pick, I guess you could say. He needs to be better against press and bigger corners overall. Like, yeah, his hand size, like, the thing that sucks is he's so skilled as a slot receiver, but, like, traits-wise, he's not fast. He's not good. Like, he's not going to take slants to the house in the NFL, which is unfortunate. His arms and his hands, like, if he is in the slot, like, on a slant trying to have like a wide receiver jam him, he's probably going to lose if he can't separate because he just doesn't have big hands and doesn't have big arms. He's also not imposing at all with his size. He's 5'11", 192. And yeah, I said he's kind of one-dimensional with most of his production coming from the slot. Like he can play out wide, but you don't really project for him to do that at the next level. He's just not long enough, not big enough, not fast enough. And yeah, like it's funny because skill-wise, this dude is a beast, but the stuff that he really can't control, like his traits and his athleticism, are gonna be honest, like kind of really bad. Like Mekhi, I like a ton, and we both have him 3, and I do think he's gonna be like for instance, like if you went to like the Rams, that makes a ton of sense to me. Like Puka's dominating outside, he's killing it in the slot, but like I just feel like he gets drafted so high where he's expected to do so much more than will be asked of him.
Right.
And it's just like he's just not big enough. He is not good enough of an athlete to be how elite as he was in college in the NFL. Like, and even like when I say like I think he could be the best slot, that's hard to say because the best slot in the NFL having this little of size, hands, and being this slow is just like it's hard. But man, he's so talented that it's hard to be like he couldn't be. Like you have to kind of think there is a chance just off of how talented he is. But he's super young, so he could potentially get faster. He's not even 22 yet. Like, who knows? He could grow into that, but I mean, he is super reliable. Only 3 drops in the last 2 years.
Yep.
So the thing with Mekhi is just like, where do you take this player?
Right. That's where kind of.
You need to be a good enough team. Like this is kind of a luxury. Whoever takes him is going to be a luxury pick, and he kind of can't be your wide receiver 1. He kind of has to be your wide receiver 2.
And that's his biggest issue.
I think his ceiling with his talent. Like I said, Skylar Bell and Omar Cooper, I think could be like wide receiver 1s, and I don't think Mekhi can be. But Mekhi's floor is so much higher than Cooper's and Bell's that I think he kind of is better. But I'll be honest when I say like Skylar Bell and because Skylar Bell's so similar to him. Like, I almost put Bell over Lemon because I thought his ceiling was so much higher. Like, he's just bigger, he's way faster, he's way better of an athlete. That I'm like, okay, he actually projects as like an NFL player. But Mekhi is just like skill wise so much more polished. So we do see him very similarly. I would say I'm a little bit more worried about him than a lot of people are, though, personally.
Yeah, I think that like the reason he's getting drafted I mean, he's going to be a first round pick. Like the reason he's going to be a first round pick is because his floor is so high. Like he has the safest wide receiver pick in the entire draft because he will be a good slot receiver at the very least.
I actually agree with that. Yeah, that he probably is. Not really injured, catches the ball really well, like no drops.
Right.
And everybody else kind of has a glaring issue, like Tyson with his injuries, Tate with obviously everything I said. So yeah, I actually agree with that.
Yeah, and that's why he's going to be that luxury pick. But yeah.
Yeah. Anything else to say? I just think Lemon's a really solid player overall.
Agreed. Yeah, I think that's why he's 3 for me.
So you want to talk about Casey Concepcion now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, great. He is my second wide receiver.
I'm excited to hear this.
Which I've been a fan of him for a very long time. I was watching Anthony Belton tape a year and a half ago.
Oh, God. Anthony Belton, don't get me started, bro.
Yeah, bro. I had a 6th round grade on him. Packers took him in the 2nd round.
2nd rounder.
Anyway, like, you're watching him and you're like, damn, all his reps that he's winning obviously creates time for the quarterback to throw. And usually would be going to Casey Concepcion, who would be tearing it up. Casey Concepcion has had 3 seasons in college, 2 at NC State and his last one at A&M, where, I mean, like, he's been the guy. Like, at NC State, he came in as a freshman right away and dominated. Like, in his 2 years at NC State, he had 125 catches for 1,300 yards and 16 touchdowns. And that was just off of receiving. He had like 400 yards and like 4 touchdowns added on top of that in the rush game. So he had like 20 touchdowns and almost 1,700 yards in all-purpose. And in 2025, transferring to A&M, he had 919 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 61 catches. And he just has so many takeover games where he proves he can be an alpha threat. For me, against USC this year, 7 for 11, 158 yards, pretty damn good. Like 2023 against Clemson as a freshman, 5 for 6, 83 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's pretty damn good. Versus Notre Dame this year, 4 for 10, 82 yards. Like, could be a little better. Obviously, like his Miami game against Miami wasn't amazing, 4 for 7, 33 yards. But honestly, if you watch that game, Marcel Reed was way more of the problem than Casey Concepcion was. I just think like he's super versatile. He can play in the slot and outside. He has elite burst and he's so twitchy. Like I think he's the twitchiest player in this class. Like he came in as a freshman and was like this uber Swiss Army knife threat for them, where he could just do like everything. I think he's a really, really good route runner who cuts off routes perfectly, and like he explodes out of breaks with force. His yak ability is great because of his acceleration, twitch, and like all his moves he employs to make guys miss. I mean, like he might have the deepest bag of moves in this class. I thought like I know you said you were worried about his speed. I think he has good long speed, like good enough that he can actually stretch the field deep and like actually be a deep threat. I thought he's super physical, like very, very scrappy. Like I get he's not that big, but like he's a super scrappy player. He's always fighting for extra yards. I think he finds soft spots and zones with ease. I think he's super, super smart. He also is really, really young. Like I think he's only going to get faster and like a better athlete. And I think he's a great return specialist too. Like if you want to put. Now, I will say, like, he has a really bad drop issue. He's kind of always struggled with this. 12 drops in his 2 years at NC State, 7 drops this year. I mean, at NC State, he caused 4 interceptions a year. And this year, he had 2 interceptions caused. He's not that good of a blocker. And this is just pretty much like his small build, 6 foot, 196 pounds. And he bobbles balls a lot, but that kind of just goes into his drops. But man, like if you solve this drop problem for him, I think he can be a really, really good wide receiver 1. I think he just does everything like super elite. Obviously, his size is kind of against him, like in terms of blocking and being like a dominant force down the field. But he plays like he punches above his weight class with his physicality. He is super, super scrappy. Like you would think that he's like 210, the way he kind of like dogs some of these guys. And I love him. I'll be honest, like maybe there's a little bit of favoritism going on here, but I really, really like Casey Concepcion. And I think he's the second best receiver in this draft. So what do you think about him? Because what is he for you? He's like 5 or 6?
He's 5.
Okay. So
I definitely think he's a top 5 receiver in this class. The first thing I want to say is he is my favorite receiver based on character. Like I really like how he acts on the field. And he just
Yeah.
like I feel like it's a really underrated aspect of prospects. Like you don't want a dude who's gonna be like a douche or like is
No,
like
yeah.
doesn't have a good attitude. It seems like Casey Concepcion is always like he's always pumped up on the field. He's always like in it. He has a good
Very
attitude,
competitive.
very
Yeah.
competitive, and I
That's
really
why
like
I
that.
love Bell so much too.
Yeah, and I was watching him on the field, and like I just really like that. I also thought he was amazing in open space, and I kind of wrote
Super shifty.
like you said, he like fights like hell through tackles while he's running. He holds really solid strength for his size.
Yeah.
He's great at coming back to the ball. Great hands to go along with that. Experienced in punt returning. He had 2 touchdowns this last year, 92.3 grade.
He's a firecracker.
He really is. Obviously, my biggest issue with him is his drops. That definitely is a problem that needs to be solved. I mean, a 10.3% drop rate is not good. That's something that needs to be solved for sure. I'm trying to find the other thing. He's not great at adjusting to the ball. He's solid, but like there's definitely something he needs to work on. And I still think he has pretty average speed, so he definitely would need to work on that for separation. But yes, in the open field, he's really good. He might be one of the best guys in the open field in this class.
Probably is the best personally.
I think that's a crazy take. He also doesn't fumble. He didn't this year. Yeah, he didn't this year. And yeah, he was fairly productive at A&M. 900 yards, 9 touchdowns, 13 games.
Yeah.
Had a 90-plus grade on all zero-plus yard targets. Short center field targets, he caught 23 of 33 for 330 yards and a touchdown. But yeah, I just think he's a very safe pick other than the drops. I think he's going to be an instant good addition to any team.
Yeah.
Definitely think he can work up to that wide receiver 1 role. But yeah, I had him at 5 just because I didn't see his ceiling as high as the 4 guys above him. But I definitely think he's an excellent player. And I think that and I would love I'm gonna love to watch him in the NFL because he's like a spark.
Oh, he's so fun to watch. I just really like Concepcion because I think he can do so much for you. Like he even went 10 for 15 on contested catches this year. So it's like top of the fact that I think he's a good route runner and he's super physical. Like he plays above his weight class. Like I actually think there's a chance he could win down the field for you like pretty consistently despite his size. He's shown that. I also I know he didn't test. I wish he did because here's the thing. I wish they tested him in the weight room because I can guarantee you this guy's top lifts are fucking nuts. He has to be ridiculously strong on bench, squat, all his cleans. I mean, for how hybrid of an athlete. I mean, NC State played him as a running back as a freshman and he killed it too. So you know how strong you have to be to win at all levels on the field as a wide receiver and then go kill it as a running back. He is such a shifty gadget. And they probably won't use him in the NFL like that, but it's the fact that you could line him up in the Wildcat, and I actually think he could consistently score on the goal line for you. He's super intriguing for even fantasy. I'm damn, I could see him being a really, really elite fantasy player just because the way I looked at him is I think he's honestly the average offensive coordinator's dream player. You wish he was a little bigger, but everything he does is so elite, and he plays it with such a physical, competitive nature that even other things that you would expect him to not be that good in, he does become good in because he wants it so bad. So I think he's the second best receiver because his floor is super high, and then I also think his ceiling's really, really high because he just is obviously willing to, he wants to be that that threat. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say on him. I'll be interested to see where he goes. But if he falls out in the first round, I think it would be a travesty. So. We'll see. But is it Tyson time?
It's Tyson time. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so we think about this guy pretty much the same. Yeah. Jordan Tyson was the first wide receiver I watched in this class. Obviously, I've watched 15, watched 21. The first thing I noticed when I watched him was he is going to be my wide receiver 1. I watched him and I said, there's no way that anyone's better than him. There just isn't. And this was before I had my problems with Carnell Tate, and Carnell Tate had all the hype in the world. And same thing with McConnell. I'm there's just no way I view those guys higher than him. And I was right. He's still my number 1 wide receiver by a pretty clear amount. If he wasn't injured either, he on my big board is 5th factoring in the injury. Wide receiver 1 factoring in the injury. He's better than Casey Concepcion, who's my second wide receiver by pretty sizable, factoring in the injury. If he wasn't, he would be elite. He is literally mini Jamar Chase in the sense of he's only 6'2", 203 pounds only. Like, if he was a little bigger, he would literally be Jamar Chase.
I actually made a comparison for that I'll pull up in a bit because I thought that was an interesting comparison.
But so yeah, if Tyson, he has great production throughout his collegiate career. I mean, in 2024 at ASU, he had 75 catches for 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns. And this year he had 61 catches for 711 yards and 8 touchdowns. He has like the best wide receiver one ability to just take over games. Like versus Arizona this year, their rival, or last year, I think. 8 for 10, 143 yards and a touchdown. Versus TCU, 8 for 11, 126, 2 touchdowns. Versus Kansas State, 12 for 16, 173 yards and 2 touchdowns. Versus Texas Tech, he kind of struggled a little bit. But like against BYU, 9 for 13, 125 yards. In Texas Tech, he struggled in 2024. In 2025, he got his get back, 10 for 16, 105 yards and a touchdown. Like, he is an alpha wide receiver. Like, when he takes over games like that Kansas State game, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, like, you see what you want from an NFL receiver in that game. Like, he is insane. He's probably the best separator in the class. Like, I think his movement skills are some of the most fluid and smooth I've ever seen in my life. Like, how people talk about Cardinal Tate, I think this guy is like that level of separator. He's elite. He is elite, short to immediate, too deep, intermediate, too deep as a threat. Like, he kills it at all levels of the field, in the screen game, deep downfield. He has super sticky hands, like 1.6% drop rate. I mean, he had 1 drop this year, and that's it. He's a great blocker. And like, I know like Hines Ward, and I think Steve Smith both really love this guy, like 2 elite wide receivers. One of the most impressive things to me was his body control, like his boundary work and like end zone work is ridiculous. Like,
it's really good.
Making the most insane like toe taps and like one-handed catches, and like, dude is literally like, his catch radius is like a vacuum cleaner. Like, he just brings in everything.
Can I jump in about that? Like, his catch radius is so good, but he doesn't even have like the craziest radius. He has 30 and a quarter arms, and he has 9 and an eighth inch hands. Like, that's not like that insane. And it feels like he has like way bigger arms.
So I think he's just such an elite athlete. Like, his vertical is easily 40 inches, easily. He's probably a very, very low 4.4 guy. And like, he has that throw where he like Jordan catches it, you know what I'm talking about? Or like Sam like one throw. Like, that's one of the most insane plays I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He just goes up and gets it too, like, absolutely at an elite level. I mean, when he's on, he's on. Like, he jumps up. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if he had, like, closer to a 45-inch vertical. Like, he is fucking nutty. And, you know, obviously the big thing with him, really the only problem I had with him, everything else I thought he did at an average level, was his injury history. He had a season-ending knee injury and a collarbone injury. But the funny thing is despite that, he's been incredibly productive through the last 2 years. And his collarbone injury, I think it's fine considering he has 100th percentile bench. 26 bench reps of 225.
Bro,
this dude, if you're worried about him beating press, I think it's fine. If you're worried about him dominating down the field, I think he has that strength.
Maybe.
If you're worried about the bone that's right here being hurt, guess what benching 225 kind of needs? It's for your collarbone to be healthy. So I'm not worried about that at all. He also has a bad hamstring injury, but like, he's just so good that I take that risk. Personally,
I would too.
So I know I just talked about him. I want to hear what you love about him too. He's also super young, by the way. Hit me with everything you love about him or what you're concerned with, because they need to hear your perspective too, obviously, as your wide receiver one.
And I could go on forever. You hit a lot of it. I mean, there's not a ton that I would add. The first thing that I wrote down, on my notes, I always write down the first thing that jumps out when I'm watching the tape. First thing I wrote down for him is great on-field playmaking athleticism. I mean, like, there's the one play, who's it against, where he literally hurdles the what's the quarterback's name again? I forgot. Levitt like rolls out and he's like under pressure and he throws it to Tyson, and Tyson like hurdles the dude on the sideline and then like tight ropes the sideline. You know what I'm talking about?
You're talking about. Yeah, I
can't remember who it was against.
I can't remember what team it was.
But it was just like, it's like I don't even know. I can't even name on one hand the amount of players that are doing that in college, and like, it's a ridiculous play.
It's him.
And
Oh,
like
was it NA? Was it Arizona University? Like, was it like week 1? I think it was.
it might have been. It might have been. But like just the fact, like just the idea of hurdling a dude on the sideline and then running an extra 10 yards to score,
Yeah.
like, bro, what are we even
His balance is
doing?
nuts.
His balance is nuts. He has really strong hands, rarely drops the ball. Great against zone, great against man. Breakaway moves and cutting ability are amazing. Forces corners to respect his speed and agility, which makes it
Yep.
way harder to guard him. My only concerns with him outside of injury were it seemed like a few times he would like line up off sides. I don't know what that was about. Like he struggled with
I
like
didn't
lining up
notice
off
that.
sides.
Maybe that's a thing though.
But like that's an easy fix.
Yeah.
And then yeah, extremely strong. I mean, 26 reps of bench press off a broken collarbone. Like, bro, he
Yeah.
could have probably put up 30 if he doesn't break his collarbone early in his career. He had 95.8 grade on deep balls, 93.8 on intermediate, 91.7 on short passes. He had 4 of the 9 games he played this year before his injury. He had 100 plus yards. He had as many drops as fumbles this year, which is kind of interesting. He only had 1 drop, 1 fumble, and he has solid and contested catches. In 9 games, he almost had 900 yards. Or sorry, he had 700 yards and 8 touchdowns and 61 receptions in 9 games. I mean, like, I just don't know how you don't love this guy. The only thing that brings this dude down is his injury. And like, if it's outside of his injury, even factoring that in, I think you said you have him as your 5th guy on your big board. I think I have him as 6. Like, there's zero reason outside of this dude's injury that he should fall out of the top 10. Like, zero.
So can I ask, if you took out his injury history, right, would he be better than David Bailey for you?
Yes.
Okay, he would for me. Would he be better than Caleb Downs for you?
Well, David Bailey's the best player on my big board. He would be the best player on my big board.
Oh,
Not even
I
lying.
was just going off so Bailey's 4 for me and Tyson's 5, so I was just going out mine, but obviously damn.
But Bailey is number 1 player on my big board, and I would put him above Bailey if he didn't have his injury history.
I think if Tyson wasn't injured at all, he would be better than Bailey. He would be better than Downs. I think he would be, honestly, because right now, like, 1 Sonny Styles, 2's Bane. I think he would be like 3-way tying it for 1 for me.
Actually, kind of agree.
Like,
I think I'd probably
different things.
I think I'd probably tie him actually with Bailey because Bailey is really good. Like Bailey is generational for me too.
Yeah.
I would probably it'd be like 1A 1B and then Sonny Styles like right there.
Okay.
But I would put him at 1 or 2 if he didn't have injury history.
Honestly, like when I say mini Jamar Chase, it's like I think he
To pull that up.
There's very few receivers I think he can't be better than. Like, I think Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson will probably always be better because of their size. Like, they're just bigger. They're, like, about the same level athlete and, like, route running and separating, but they're just way bigger. But, like, honestly, like, I think he could be better than Puka because he's just so much better of an athlete. Like, I think he kind of, like, you know what's funny is I think he could be like a JSN type player. Like, that's his ceiling to me because they're kind of similar size. They kind of do the same things. And that's your offensive player of the year. Like, I literally said, if Tyson stays healthy all year, he's easily the favorite for offensive rookie of the year. Runaway favorite. I don't know. I mean, it would be him and Jeremiah Love, and it would probably just be who has the better situation to who wins it. But yeah, Tyson is everything he can do. He can do everything for you. Sure, middle of the field. He can stretch the field. He plays really, really like he could be a threat in the RPO game off of screens. In motion, that's something he's super underrated. In motion, this guy is a stud. If it's just off a quick little screen going one way back to the other, or if it's, running all the way down the field like a wheel, super elite at that. So I just wish this guy was healthy, man.
I could talk about him for hours, bro.
Yeah, I think Tyson is probably the best wide receiver I've ever watched. I mean, obviously, I've only been watching for like 3 years. He would only be right behind Marvin Harrison Jr. for me. But the thing is if you don't factor in his injury, they're very close because I think he's so much better. Like, Marv was so much better in everything, but he was not as good of an athlete as Jordan Tyson is. Like, I would love to see Tyson's vertical because I genuinely think it's 40 and it might be ridiculous. Like, I mean, bro, he has that one play where he catches like a fade, he jumps with 1 foot.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Is like hurdles the guy.
Well, I think
so.
Are you talking about the one where he gets like sandwiched between 2 guys and then he catches the ball in the air? Like, I'm trying to think of what you're talking about. But there's like one where
there's a play where he gets like it looks like he gets like literally like super boost jumps up, and he's on like
I can
like
find
doing
this,
it.
bro.
Yeah, I think I can actually like. I just don't want to like. I don't know how this is gonna affect the camera.
No, I can, dude. I can pull this up. I can pull it up on a
I
browser.
checked Allstate first and saved hundreds of
Like, I'm gonna see if I can find this.
Unfortunately, I did not check my outfit before meeting my girlfriend's family.
Because like this is something I
okay,
actually
yeah.
want to show, bro. Because it's just unreal.
Just
Okay, well here I'm gonna open this as a browser. I just want to show some of these, bro. Because it's actually ridiculous. I'm gonna pull this up.
I can find the exact play I'm talking about. Maybe it's funny because it's in that edit I sent you, the no scrub edit, where he's like, just be the best wide receiver in the class.
I mean,
Yeah, just I mean, like, just watch his highlights. That's all you need to do to understand how good he is. Like,
yeah.
he makes plays. Like, honestly, his 5 best plays are probably better than the best plays of literally everyone else on this list. Like, being honest. And
Yeah, it's
like Casey Concepcion's best play would probably be like Tyson's left.
Yeah, literally.
So like, it's just like the levels there are. It's like I think Tyson could be a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, and that doesn't tell you how good he is. But unfortunately, the injury thing just drops him so far. Really too bad.
Yeah.
But I know you're trying to find this video. Do you have anything else to say, like in terms of? I will say there's certain guys like I think it's like Cody Lane who are really intriguing to me. Guys I want to watch like right away because of their athleticism. Kind of like in our last video at the edges, if me or Isaac watch somebody in the future that ends up cracking our top 10 lists or is a super high riser, like I'm sure we can make a video where we kind of cover that for like every group. Like maybe if we like kind of review our big boards like a couple days before the draft or whatever type thing. But this is our wide receiver rankings.
So if you want to.
Your number, you want 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
Yep, just go 10 to 1.
Okay, so 10 for me was Jeremy Bernard out of Alabama, super reliable guy. 9 was Denzel Boston, wide receiver from Washington, big body red zone threat. 8 was wide receiver Chris Bell from Louisville, kind of like a DK Metcalf type build. 7 is Carnell Tate from Ohio State. He is like a true X receiver. 6 was Elijah Surratt from Indiana, Batman, Mr. Reliable himself. 5 was Skylar Bell from UConn, super high ceiling, kind of can do it all receiver. Omar Cooper Jr. was my 5th receiver out of Indiana. Mini Devontae Adams was my comp for him. 3 was Makai Lemon from UFC, just a really, really good slot guy. 2 was Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M. Firecracker type player, and 1 was Jordan Tyson from Arizona State, and he is mini Jamar Chase for me.
Awesome. Yeah, and then for my top 10, at 10 we had Bryce Lance, athletic freak, high upside. At 9 I had Zachariah Branch, excellent in the slot, also has high upside. 8 I had Jeremy Bernard from Alabama, QB's favorite target. He's just a reliable weapon. 7 I had Chris Brazzell, Tennessee. Same thing as Zachariah and Bryce, just high upside for me. Excellent deep threat. At 6, Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana, kind of like Cam said. He's mini Devontae Adams. 5, Casey Concepcion from Texas Tech, or Texas A&M, sorry. Just an excellent in the open field, firecracker type player. 4, Denzel Boston, excellent contested catcher, deep threat as well. 3, Makai Lemon, excellent slot. 2, Carnell Tate, great route running ability, most NFL ready in my opinion. And at number 1, like Cam, Jordan Tyson, undisputed. But yeah.
Yes, sir. It's a good ranking. I know we haven't released a video in like 10 days, so we're going to try and do a quick turnaround. We're ranking safeties next. Probably what, top 10 safeties, would you say? Maybe some honorable mentions.
Yeah.
There is kind of a fall off, so maybe we'll do top 8, whatever. We'll have to see. But we're kind of just covering the strongest position groups because, like, why would we talk about tight ends when there's really only one relevant one, right?
Right.
So we're probably going to do safeties and then maybe corners after that. But, I mean, we can shoot for, what, Tuesday night, Thursday night? I have both those days off for work. At latest Thursday, at earliest Tuesday, I'm going to be grinding tonight and tomorrow and then Tuesday morning. So try and get that safety video out for you guys. I would like to cover every group before the draft. There's 3 weeks
it's
limited
coming
time,
up, bro.
and me and you are busy. I did take off an extra day of work. I don't know if I told you that, but I used to work 4 days a week. Now I work 3 days a week because I really want to cram this in for the draft. Just spend like days doing this. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. This is a super long video, I think. We covered like 15 guys.
This is after the mess up.
Yeah, We spent like 2 hours before this video trying to figure stuff out and
So-
recording content that did not get actually recorded.
We have been running this for 4.5 hours.
Yeah. I am incredibly hungry and have to go to the bathroom, as I have not one time in this stretch. But we have to grind through for the wide receivers.
Right.
Honestly, probably the most fun group to watch in my opinion overall.
Oh, for
I really
sure.
like this. So
Definitely.
this was fun.
This has been the
Yeah. Thank you guys. See you later.